Almost there. One more second. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There we are. Welcome. Hi, everybody. It really is me this time. So, Chip is not responsible for the weird posts that are saying I'm online at all. I talked to Restream, and we did some resetting over there. I reset some stream keys and every password. And hopefully, this will solve some of our current issues. Fingers crossed. Let's go. As the patron saint of HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide, Our Lady Rosanna Dana once said, "It's always a something." And I much prefer her as a patron saint over Murphy, the cat, or the person who created the law, although I think both are true. So, yeah. Can you get my stars back? I hopefully, piece by piece. No. And no. All right. There's no butt hacks. I don't think it's the same gremlin that jacked my mic at the Sexy Liberal. Absolutely, Mark. I think I've been surrounded these days. So anyways, all the help I can get, feel free to support the show. Like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, and we will get into the show. Now there's, and I want to thank everybody in the chat who remembers to remind everyone to subscribe on Twitch and other places when I forget to. I'm going to continue to be terrible at that. We're just going to have to deal. I am not... That's the one area where I have a huge blank spot in my professional YouTuber and Twitcher future. It's always going to be that problem. It's just, yeah. So, has someone hacked my mic? No, my mic is fine. I think. The mic was at Sexy Liberal. I had a couple of dropouts. There was something about and I couldn't use my guitar wireless at the show in DC. We had to use the one that they had there because of interference. So there was clearly ghosts in the room. It might have been that I made some jokes at the Ford Theater and where Lincoln died at Booth's expense. So I'm guessing, because I don't think Abe Lincoln would haunt anybody. I think he had a really good sense of humor. And, is a decent soul, as the century passes, he's kind of like, you know what, I can take the, how was the theater, Mrs. Lincoln jokes. I'm good. But if there was anybody who was going to haunt someone after the fact for making jokes about them, it'd be Booth. And I was full of those. So there we go. And his crowd, his Powell / Payne and all those people. Yes, Abe loved to laugh. And he was taller than me. So what opera did Lincoln go to see? Oh, no. There's going to be a punchline to that one. How will you ever post Sexy Liberals for Patreon members? There will be a pay-per-view version of the LA one, and then I will get a copy later for Patreon people who don't want to see it live. That's the best I can do, because my issue with those kind of things is that I can't give patrons free passes to shows that other people get paid to do. So I don't want to take money from John and Steph and Frangela and Chris and everybody else who's involved. So that's just my personal shows. But in this case, I will be able to, I think, post it later as a private link for patrons. Hope that's okay. It just won't be live. So there we go. Now, I wanted to look at this all day. I have not listened to it. It is very difficult for me to avoid some clips, but by God, I have had to with this one. This is this is Tucker Carlson having on his Ukraine war expert, this guy Douglas McGregor, and this is Friday night. This is at the beginning of the push. So this guy was like, the timing of this is interesting. Not that it was like what luck that he was bullshitting 10 minutes before everything went to shit. It's more like the other way around. It was like, send this dude out because the weekend's gonna suck. So send this dude on Tucker, or have Tucker bring this guy on to kind of talk down the advances so that we can continue to bamboozle the MAGA crowd. Yeah, Ukraine is fucking up some Russians, man. It's good to watch, but I want to hear this asshole's take on it, because we now know in retrospect that the Ukrainians so far, by the way, in the last 4 days have reclaimed somewhere in the order of about 3,000 square kilometers, pushed all the way back to the Russian border, are encountering almost no resistance in a bunch of places. And the only places that they're receiving fire are from missiles fired from Russia into Ukraine, not even on the ground. They are also, because they destroyed the railway system that Russia was using to bring shit into Ukraine, it made it impossible for them to retreat and take their shit with them. You want Ukraine to attack Russia and cut their fucking troops off? They're not far from that. So there will be, my guess is, more sabotage and soft troops doing that kind of stuff inside Russia in the near future. Yeah, it's the idea that Putin says don't attack Russia is so fucked up. Yeah, exactly. Like, how dare you? Yeah. So let's see what this asshole has to say. I've been wanting to watch it all day. It's only a couple minutes long.
So Zelensky is now going to...
Hold on. Is this quiet? Bring the volume up on this a little. So Zelensky is
hosted by the defense contractors. I wonder, could they make it more obvious?
He's going to be hosted by the defense contractors. Could they make it any more obvious? Could they bring over a guy who has used those weapons very well in a completely defensible war situation, and has pointed out the fact that the help we're giving them is basically meaning that this tiny little country is kicking the ass of the number 2 military in the world?
No, probably not. Of course, when he meets with them, this entire war may be over.
Right, but in a way that, I mean, they might be high-fiving him. And don't feel like you need to give a speech, but just, you know what? Dinner's on us.
Right now, things are going very, very badly, which is why the Ukrainians are so desperate.
Is it? Is that what's happening? Oh, God. You know what? If this was from like May or June or even the first couple weeks of February.
The list, the so-called kill list, which has me and many other Americans on it, is simply a reflection of that.
What? Sorry. Hold on. Ukrainian. We're going to have to, it'll say something, right? Kill list. What's this asshole's name? Douglas McGregor. Did the West bring Asian time? 7-month war. Fox News invasion expert is a Trump appointed. Putin. Let's see. To push. Okay, that's Rolling Stone. On lies getting Ukrainians killed. That's Audible. Tucker Carlson's favorite. Douglas here. Putin invaded Ukraine in defense of his country. U.S. brought this on. Is this guy's take on things? Okay, he's just another self-important prick. He's not important. That's the thing. He's making up that he's on the kill list so that I guess Tucker has justification for bringing him on. I don't know. Who gives a fuck?
Desperation. But the larger picture is very simply as follows. The Ukrainians have focused on trying to take, retake, and hold territory.
You mean their own fucking country? Why would they do that? It's like imagine this asshole talking to King George going, the Americans have been focusing on taking, retaking, and salvaging their own, the colonies for themselves.
The Russians haven't paid much attention to territory. They've paid attention to destroying Ukrainian forces.
Really? They paid attention to it, have it? Like, what kind of attention is that? The kind of, like, tell you what, for every one of you we kill, we'll kill one of ours too. Well, make that 2. How about 4?
And the last offensives down south failed miserably.
Hold that thought.
30, 40, 50% casualties, loss of equipment. And bear in mind that when the equipment
You're talking about the Russians, right?
does show up, only about 30 to 40% of it ever reaches the Ukrainians. The rest of it disappears in a sea of corruption.
Right. That's another like story point. Let me explain something to you how dumb this talking point is. So you're trying to tell me that the Ukrainians are like curb stomping Russia with a third of the gear we're sending them. Yeah, it's not even true, but like understand what that means. That this Ukrainian blitz that just happened and the reclamation of territory that they've taken and the rebuffing of the Kiev attack and all that kind of stuff was done with a third of the gear we sent. Motherfucker, if they can do that with a third, let's bump it up to 50%. If they're giving away 70% of the shit, I don't know to who. But the idea, and by the way, the reason they say that too is that up till now, only about 60% of the money we're sending them is like functional money to help them stabilize their government and for refugees and food services and transport and making sure grain shipments happen and all that kind of shit. And only about 45% of it is actual military money because the Lend-Lease doesn't include that. The gifting of stuff, we can send them shit we never expect to get back. And it goes off on, goes off of the budget like it's funds, but it's stuff that already exists. We're not going to use it. We're not going to use it anymore. Maybe they're selling it to Russia. If that were the case, if they were selling it to Russia, they would just get it back in a couple of weeks anyways because of the shit the Russians are leaving behind. This is so stupid.
But this desperation is very dangerous right now because they're losing once again just south of Kharkov.
They're losing just south of a place. You mean Kharkiv? You mean a place that actually exists as opposed to Kharkov, which I think is the name of the mad scientists in Flash Gordon, the movie.
And there are people in Washington talking about what else can we do? And there's actually talk about fighting and potentially winning a limited nuclear war, which of course is delusional.
Oh my God. Look at Tucker. What? There's people actually talking about fighting and winning a limited nuclear war? You mean Russians? And our people would have to go, all right, what does that look like? You do realize there's someone at the Pentagon to run down every possibility, right? So the idea that they're running down the possibility isn't something to be shocked about ever. If I'll tell you what, this is how it works. Anybody ever see, I think it was like Get Smart, the Nude Bomb or whatever it was. The movie, if Kim Jong-un came out and said he had a weapon that would blow the clothes off of everyone, as stupid as it is, somebody in the Pentagon is gonna go, oh, what the fuck? Okay, Wilson, come here. Run down what the fuck the effect of a naked bomb would be, other than population explosion and a run on baby oil at the supermarket. Yep, 39.9. We're almost there. Within 100. Don't forget to subscribe. Almost at 40,000. If we hit 50 by my birthday, you guys, come on. All right.
Delusional, and we should have given up on that decades ago. But it's coming back in vogue.
I mean, this is a tragedy for people who still live in Ukraine. They're being killed in huge numbers. Why not settle this war, return energy prices to normal, and stop the economic catastrophe we're facing?
Yeah, why don't you ask Putin that? Because he's the one who could end it in a second by getting the fuck out.
Well, I think the Biden administration is now trying to figure out how they retreat from the dumb position that they've taken to this point.
So is this clip from the Upside Down? Honestly, this has been this argument has been dipshit from the beginning. But at this point, I don't get it. Like, I don't even understand how this is Friday night? They were already doing the push on Friday night. How did I cover Trump landing in D.C.? Yes, I covered it this morning. We'll go back over some of it. Yeah.
I don't think they can do that very easily, do you?
I think the consequences of not doing that at this point could include the impoverishment of the West. So maybe they should.
The impoverishment of the West, as opposed to what's happening in Russia and China, you mean?
Oh, absolutely. But I don't see it happening.
This is genius.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't see. It's just gonna go. It's gonna be terrible. It's very rough. I don't know how we're gonna. If only we had Greg Kelly covering this for us.
Colonel Douglas McGregor.
Colonel Douglas McGregor, permanently wrong, dumber than ever. Tell Mearsheimer we said fuck you. Hi. By the way, I finally got around to watching one of John Mearsheimer's full speeches on Ukraine. And he's the guy that Jimmy Dore and all these assholes constantly reference about the NATO expansion and the West made this happen and the forcing of it. And it's the same place McGregor's getting some of his talking points. And I have to say it was dumber than I thought it would be. And that's saying a lot because I've seen it play out as wrong. The only thing is I didn't watch one of his older ones. I watched one of the more recent ones, and it's about an hour long. He was speaking at Harvard, I think, and or Yale or somebody. It was like at a smaller. It was at almost like a classroom setting. But the places where he's speaking are getting smaller and smaller, which is amazing. Anyways, just ridiculous. But the point is that this is all the West's fault. We made Putin invade. It's our fault that he's doing all this. When he makes nuclear threats, that's us making nuclear threats. When he threatens to wipe out the Ukrainian identity, that's us wiping out the Ukrainian identity. It's like, swear to God, it's mind-boggling that this is, I mean, it sounds like shit Roseanne would say. Like all of this stuff, like this stuff from him, like this sounds like stuff but for the grammar and syntax, sounds like stuff we would have heard. Christina, what's her name? The QAnon woman who died of COVID, and like when she was on with Roseanne. Remember that shit when we would listen to some of those? It sounds like that. Did Roseanne have a brain injury? No, the mental illness has been, always the kind of go-to reason when they talk about it. The weird part is I don't know if it's drug-induced or biological or if it's just always been a thing or it's she's kept to herself about it a lot. Yeah, Kirsten something. Kirsten W. Dor seems to think some, liberal comedian died of what? Breaking, hold on 1 second. Breaking, more than 30 people associated with Trump in efforts to influence the 2020 election results have received federal grand jury subpoenas. 4 sources told CBS News. So good. Hold on 1 second. I have to bring this up because, let's see. Trump, where is it? Let's see if I can find Trump, golf. So, the story today has been, and we covered this a little bit this morning, about why is he there, and he went to his golf course. This is him alone, no golf clubs. This is him getting out of the place. Yeah, here you go. This is the picture that everybody's like citing. That's Eric. The rest of these folks, I mean, that's not Devin Nunes. That's some greenskeeper dude. This guy's wearing an IFB, so I'm gonna go with like plainclothes Secret Service that's got to be around. And it could very well be that they're just trying to figure out a way to sell this place. That I don't know if that is his old lawyer or any of his legal team that he's talking to, but they are definitely like, this reminds me of that scene in Casino where everything's bugged, so they go out and, you know, yeah, he's got an IFB on. Like it looks like, I mean, it might be just a line in his hair, but right there, it looks like he's wearing an earpiece. It could just be his skin. That's the only thing. So, yeah, in this particular instance, I don't, that's not Devin Nunes. Some people have been talking about it. That isn't. That's the greenskeeper dude who's one of the people who runs the place. So it could be that they're just, no, I don't see Lindsey Graham or anybody. Like, that's the only one. Ty Cobb, remember Ty Cobb, his other lawyer? These might be all the guys who haven't been subpoenaed, or it might be a new legal team. He might be meeting with new lawyers about shit and wants to talk away from where anybody could record it, because he does. You got to understand, he still doesn't know who ratted him out. Well, no, Ethan, that's the dude's name. Trump lawyer Ty Cobb. Same thing as Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, and so on. I'll show you. Although I don't see that being him, because he's not a current. He is not. Let's see if there's an image of him. See him right there? This guy right here. That's the only one it looks like from this picture that I can spot. That might be him. But again, Ty Cobb's not repping him. Like he doesn't want him to run again. So it might be that he's bringing him in because he still technically was his attorney. The guy ratted him out as Eric. Well, the fear is it would be Jared. Because if Jared learned anything from what his dad did to his uncle, it's that's how you get ahead in business. Is fuck the dude who's in your way. Ty Cobb's a new brand of chicken. So I'm sure somebody will. Let's see. Is that someone from Senator Mike Lee? Yeah, I don't know that. Somebody's going to have to go through and, like, yeah. See, that's not Nunes. That's the guy who runs the place. Now they could just be like planning the Saudis could have said, we need a place closer to DC. But wants to meet with Republican politician in office not secure enough for him. Yeah, he's worried about being indoors. Yeah, that's what it is. That's the Sopranos thing, where they're all like doing business on the golf course. It just reeks of it. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that is not him. That is not Ty Cobb. That is just yeah, somebody else is blowing these pictures up. The Trump org. Today we are okay now. Videos and photos show Trump traversing his Virginia in the rain, but not golfing. Yeah. I mean, it just reeks. It sounds like he's talking to people who are going to get rid of shit. And this is all he put. Working today at Trump, Washington, D.C. on the Potomac River. What an incredible place. That's all he wrote. And he wrote it after he landed. So we shall see what we shall see. For those of you that didn't watch the video earlier, but yeah, he's not, they're just going around. It's him and Eric talking shit, and then these guys are following. The key would be, you know, do the guys who work specifically for the folks at, you know, like that run the place, if they fuck off at any point and he's alone with 4 of these assholes wherever they're off and about, like if they have beyond that picture. But these are the posed pictures where they know people can see them. The other thing too is that he could have, you know, that, yeah, this is the guy, Brad Enney. This is the guy, yeah. He may have to sell this place, and you know, like he got out of the DC hotel. That's the theory too. That's my personal theory. He's also, for the golf clothes that he had on, I don't know that it is the same thing he was wearing when he landed. I mean, he's got a jacket over it, so that's the best. And this whole like running business is very weird. Yeah, and by the way, there is no way he's not under surveillance right now. There's just no fucking way. I'm just telling you. The other thing too is the boxes that went missing. There's a couple of things. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff to cover today. I'm
doing a quick.
Yeah, I don't care. So this is a quick video. We always like to drop in on Devin, on Dinesh D'Souza, not Devin Nunes. They both have dumb smiles. It's almost the exact same one. It's weird. Like Devin and Dinesh sounds like a sitcom waiting to happen. I'm just saying. But we always like it when he's still trying to get, like, every time he does a video about 2,000 mules, it's like he's trying to get a car stuck in a ditch out of the mud. Like he's just trying everything he fucking can, right? So this is NPR's Tom Dreisbach uses a, quote, straw man technique to try and debunk 2,000 mules. Let's see what the straw man is.
I'm doing a quick.
Oh, it's loud. Hold on.
A refresher debunking of NPR hitman Tom Dreisbach's article on 2,000 Mules, the film.
Because it's still costing you money.
A pro-Trump film suggests its data are so accurate it solved a murder. That's false.
Yeah, I remember when he actually said that.
First of all, for anyone who saw the film...
We saw it. We went through the whole fucking thing.
There's a scene with, we're talking about a murder that occurred in Atlanta. The murder of a young black woman named Sequoia Turner. And we see Greg Phillips drawing a circle. They have geo-tracking data from the date and time of the shooting, and drawing a circle Greg Phillips goes, inside this circle is the small population of potential shooters. So in other words, these are the cell phone ID devices where the angle of the bullet seems to have come from. Now, again, that doesn't solve a murder. What it does is it tells the cops that these are guys you might want to look more closely at.
Right, because they were in the vicinity. Doesn't make them the shooter. You need other shit. In the same way, this exactly points out the biggest flaw in 2,000 Mules is that just stopping at a fucking stop sign near one of these drop-off boxes is a big enough circle in this explanation in the fucking movie to make up this bullshit that they went over and dumped Every time they stopped at that stoplight was them dumping 2,000 fucking votes into a box. That's exactly the fucking point. On its own, it can't do it. And it's not the linchpin of it unless you have the other shit. And they never offer any other footage of any other folks in this fucking movie where they tie it to them stopping at a goddamn stop sign or being within a circumference. It's just so fucking lazy.
Because all True the Vote has is their cell phone IDs. They don't even have the identities of those individuals, but law enforcement can get them. So, again, Tom Dreisbach is setting up the straw man. They solved the murder. And then he goes on to quote the...
So you're telling me that after we watched that whole fucking movie, now your argument is that you're not even sure that the cell phone tracking data that you showed was of the people in the fucking videos that you showed dropping off votes, and it's still just people stopping at goddamn stop signs? So you basically just took anybody who stopped by the same two stop signs, the one near the liberal 501c3 or whatever the fucking, obvious voter manipulation group office was, wherever the shit that was, in between a fucking barber shop and a 7-Eleven. If you were anywhere next to one of those fucking things, and you also at some point in your same traversing across town or within a couple of days went over to one of the stop signs near one of these drop-off boxes, that counts as a point in your column. Get the fuck out of here.
The authorities basically saying that the data put together by True the Vote came after the arrests of these two gang members who are accused of having committed the murder. Well, whether the data came in before or after doesn't really matter.
Sure it does, because it means that the primary evidence that they achieved, that solved that murder, first of all, happened before they found that. And this was ancillary against alibi as far as being in the vicinity. It has the same legal weight as people saw you a couple of blocks away. That's the same fucking thing. A man seen wearing the same jacket was seen leaving the building at 2:00 by witnesses. It's in the same fucking category as that.
Because even after you indict people, you do have to prove your case. And
Really? Well, get at it, fucko.
Very commonly these days, in fact, this is probably one of the most powerful types of evidence before a jury today, is to show the jury that cell phone geolocation places the suspect right at the scene of the crime.
Yeah, it doesn't, though. It puts them in the vicinity. You have to isolate out several other things. You're going to need a fucking footprint, with the victim's blood or something nearby, or you're going to need, a witness that heard the shot and then saw him walk away. And that kind of, if you just put them in the vicinity, especially in a crowded situation, specifically the place that they represent in this, in the shooting that they're talking about, there were dozens upon dozens of other fucking people. None of those other people are guilty of this crime for being right fucking there. As a matter of fact, there were people 2-3 feet away from that space who, by the way, were probably at a bunch of other places the actual killer was at. This is, all right, I think this is good for clarification on this fucking moron's movie. So in the situation that they point out, these people had blocked the road. These activists had blocked the road. And when a woman was shot, one of the people in that crowd killed the woman, if I'm recalling correctly. But there were two people who were involved in it. There were a bunch of other people nearby. They all knew each other. Which means that if you check their geolocated data from their fucking phones, you're going to find that the people who were standing right next to the shooter, 2 feet away, completely innocent of any fucking crime ever, could be found to have earlier in the day stopped at the same stop sign when they were traveling to get to that place, would have found them going to the same fucking barber shop or stopping at the same grocery store. Their geolocation data would have matched up with the fucking murderer. And the entire basis of 2,000 Mules is the assumption that if you stopped here and you stopped here and you stopped here and we think a crime happened, it did, we don't have proof that it did. But if we think a crime happened here, anybody else who stopped at that stop sign, went to that grocery store, stopped at that business, and went here in any fucking order is equally as guilty and proves our point. It is the dumbest fucking movie short of I Am Hunter, which I'm still trying to get a copy of so we can review it together.
At the time that the crime occurred. Now, Dreisbach wants to undercut this. And so he says that he talked to the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and he quotes someone from the GBI saying, "We never received any data from True the Vote." But it turns out if you go back and watch the movie and watch it carefully.
I did. We did.
It is very clearly stated in the movie that this cell phone geolocation data related to this murder was never given to the GBI. It was given to the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So if the data is given to the FBI, why would the GBI is a sister organization. Now, the FBI may have given it to the GBI, but True the Vote never said it gave the data to the GBI.
Yeah, why the fuck would you? This is not a federal fucking crime. What the fuck does the FBI have to do with this? Why wouldn't you give it to the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation? What are you talking about?
So what Dreisbach does, very slyly, is he quotes a GBI guy going, "We never got this data." And again, to the naive reader that doesn't realize that
it wouldn't matter anyways, and it's already fucking stupid, and they got whatever information they already needed. And one of the reasons why the GBI never reached out to anybody to fucking get it is because they got every other kind of normal evidence that put the killer where they were, put the gun in their hand, made sure, like, it was all... They didn't need it to solve the fucking crime. It's almost like saying we gave astrological data to the KGB to solve the BTK killer stuff, and we did it after BTK was caught. And for some reason, the FBI and the Kansas City law enforcement that ultimately busted this fucker aren't crediting us.
Nobody said the data was given to the GBI. They go, "This is a decisive refutation." No, it's not, because it's setting up a straw man. Straw man is True the Vote gave the data to the GBI, and then he goes,
"No, the straw man you're insisting is a straw man is that they said it helped solve a murder. It didn't.
See, that never happened."
It, like, at best, it would be an added circumstantial piece of evidence to convict the person, not solve the fucking murder.
Well, that never happened because no one said it happened. He's not refuting an actual claim. And then to give you an idea of just sort of...
Jesus Christ. I will say, there's something glorious about the fact that this dickhead is, like, when did we cover this movie? Like, fucking 2 months ago? When was this? Like, I put it in such the back burner of this nonsense that the fact that he's like, I have right here written down, this is, where is it? I didn't say that. What I said was that at no point in the description, well, there was I think, where is it? Shit, I wrote it down somewhere. But anyway, the important thing is, you're wrong.
Kind of how even on small things, you have
like your brain
deception by this Dreisbach fellow. He says he's talking about the fact that Greg Phillips claims, now this is not directly in the movie, but it's in other interviews that Greg Phillips has done.
I see. So you cut that part out because it was even worse than what you left in?
Greg Phillips says, we did our work.
That's in full talk to your manager mode, totally.
Our research at Mississippi State University. This is Mississippi State in Starkville, Mississippi. So
I should hope so.
Dreisbach goes running over to Mississippi State. He finds a leftist. It turns out to be the Sid Salter, Chief Communications Officer, Director of Public Affairs. So all of this is, there's these massive titles that give a kind of sense of pomp.
Of people who've actually studied, who know what the fuck they're talking about, that don't include felon in their fucking title, you dipshit.
Oh, this is a guy who really knows what he's talking about.
He's from the fucking school. The guy got his... All right.
Quote, Mississippi State University, to our knowledge, has done zero analysis or computing on behalf of True the Vote. Classic straw man nonsense. Why? Because first of all, Greg Phillips never said that Mississippi State did any work for True the Vote.
He just implied that he checked his work with them, which would entail them doing some computation.
Phillips simply said, I use the facilities and the supercomputing capacity of Mississippi State to do my own research and my team's research. This is kind of like me going to the Princeton University.
Oh, so he's just lying.
Library and reading books in there. And then writing my book, citing sources, and then Princeton saying, to our knowledge, Princeton University has not done any research for Dinesh D'Souza's book.
No. Because a library is one thing, but the machinery paid for by the research facilities, especially when it comes to a supercomputer at a university, is one of those things, there's no fucking AI supercomputer library card, fucko. Doesn't work that way. You have to get permission, and you're in line behind other people who are actually trying to look into real shit.
I never said they did. I merely said I used their facilities. But this is the Dreisbachian technique.
Oh, that's good. At least he's got his own technique now.
Dreisbachian technique is since he can't refute what's there, he has to create a phantom. He has to create a straw man. Then he masterfully debunks the straw man and declares victory. I mean, it's the height of deceit. And notice he's doing exactly the same.
Well, no, the height of deceit. I wouldn't even call this movie the height of deceit. I wouldn't give it that much credit, honestly. It's ass. It was ass. We watched it. It was ass. The whole thing was ass. It was ass. It literally was an audience of one documentary to just make Trump feel better. It was terrible.
Thing here with this unpublished book. He doesn't have the actual book. He doesn't have the book to debunk. I mean, I'd like to see him debunk it. He doesn't have the IQ to be able to debunk the actual book. So what he does is he goes looking for an early copy. An early copy that's not in circulation.
Oh, now he's talking about his own fucking book? The book that he had to remove, that the publisher pulled?
This unpublished book.
That's what he's talking about.
He doesn't have the actual book.
What? Yeah, well, show it to him. Send him a free copy, fucko. Send him the copy with the mistake in it and redact it.
He doesn't have the book to debunk. I mean, I'd like to see him debunk it. He doesn't have the IQ to be able to debunk the actual book.
Yes, because you would have to be, it's not even a matter of intelligence. It would be a matter of being psychic. You would have to be able to, divine the contents of a book that does not exist in present form because it's still having shit edited out of it after midnight.
So what he does is he goes looking for an early copy that's not in circulation. A stray copy that he somehow got a hold of. Maybe.
A stray copy. That's the problem with books. Sometimes they go astray. And then, hitchhiking down a lonesome road, they're picked up by BTK.
Be some, worker at Walmart pulled out one of the books, like, here you go,
Oh, I see. So workers at Walmart are stupid, and in an attempt to be overly helpful, they fuck up the whole thing.
This guy was like, yeah, I got it.
I'm sorry, your publisher pre-sent boxes to Walmart and you had to call them back or have them destroyed?
So he's attacking a non-existent book, and he's going to Regner. Regner happily said to him, listen, we can't comment on a book. It's already been, this is a book that's been recalled. The actual book we'll be happy to discuss comes out at the end of October. So, but.
If our lawyers let it.
You can see how scared they are of 2,000 Mules. They're scared.
No, they're not. As a matter of fact, it's kind of a boring topic, I gotta admit. Like, I was just shocked this is even still even, like, literally what's funny and interesting about this is the fact that you still think it's interesting and I think that's funny. This is, seriously, dude, you don't even have it like as the primary one behind your head. Call Mark Levin, he'll tell you where to put the poster.
Scared of the movie, they're scared of the book, and the book, of course, does what a movie can't do. It
does what a movie can't do. It puts you to sleep. No, 2,000 Mules almost did that. It gets you in legal trouble because you've spelled out. No, that the movie did that too. Shit.
Lays out the argument in a very
clear and concise way. Yes, a movie has never laid out an argument in a clear and concise way.
Clear, systematic fashion.
Yes, movies are not capable of doing that. It's just documentaries cannot lay out information in a clear way. What the fuck?
A movie is a kind of narrative.
Oh, I see. So you were lying in the movie, and the book is supposed to is like the scientific version, and you made a version like that, and then you sent it out, and your publisher went, holy fuck, we're going to go to jail or lose our entire business if anyone reads this piece of shit. And they had to recall the whole fucking thing to what? Cut out entire chapters? Excuse me. I think the fascinating part will happen after the second version of the book comes out and somebody with a lot of time on their hands, and it won't be me, can compare the two copies. That's what I'm going to want. What was the part that was taken? Because that's the only thing anybody's going to talk about this book. I'm telling you, the only part that will get any notoriety or be a point of conversation anywhere when this stupid fucking book comes out is going to be what was cut out of the first copy that didn't make it to the second one. And why. That's the only fucking conversation that's going to be part of it. Seriously.
Whereas a book is more like a legal brief. It's
Yes. Books have never been known to manipulate reality and form a narrative. This is the point where Dinesh D'Souza tells you that the Communist Manifesto and the Unabomber Manifesto are both like legal briefs. They're basically legal briefs.
Spells it all out, and it's a little difficult to read through it and not say, wow.
Wow, this has been a huge waste of my fucking time. Wow, there is nothing here. Wow, I am never going to get this time back. Wow.
There's something really big going on here. Whatever.
Yes, there's something big going on here, and it was removed for legal reasons from my copy of the book.
Whatever you think of it in the end, it's difficult to ignore.
No, it won't be. Really? All right.
What Dreisbach is trying to do is get people to sort of dismiss it. This is what he's...
Dude, it's the only attention this fucking thing is getting. Seriously, I'd have breezed right fucking by this if you hadn't, weren't refuting a refutation.
After...
And, nobody gives a shit. 2000, it was a flop. It sucked. It did nothing.
And this is why he's doing the hit piece that is going to come out, I think, either today or tomorrow.
Okay, so you had to get out ahead of it. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Honest to God, we went through that whole fucking movie. And there's tons wrong with it. Hold on, quit it. All right. There's tons wrong with it. But it's shocking to me, the language he uses about sort of the desperation of everyone else trying to avoid what's in 2,000 Mules, when really the only desperation I've seen is them trying to make anybody give a fuck. Trump himself has constantly pushed this fucking thing, and it didn't move it. It didn't do anything. It didn't push it forward. Think about that for a second. We literally, it's one thing to Trump give a tip of the hat to one of it, to something like a website or whatever, and people, a lot of his followers will occasionally, he can direct traffic in that direction, not to Truth Social, obviously, but to other stuff over time, last few years, not recently, not in the last year and a half, really, but before that. But the fact that he could, on the stump, repeatedly in these rallies, bring up 2,000 mules and not move the fucking needle on it. Like I mean, Fox News wouldn't even put it on the air because it'll get them in trouble. But like even Newsmax and other sites that could carry it or could talk about it just avoided it because it was so weak, frankly. It's so gross. All right. So there's, where do we go? I think we go to here because it's always good in limited time when we can double dip on dipshits. It's a double dipshit. It's Mark Levin and Bongholio. Just, I guess this is like fantasy football. If you get the two dumbest motherfuckers in the world slowly working their way down to the battle of the brainless. Here's this ad's going to be.
This is a full 3 months
and of course
of
they're
food
selling
without
fucking
needing any
survival
refrigeration or special storage.
Shut up. All right. And then this is relatively short, so we'll get through this hopefully fairly easy. But this is on Unfiltered. This is Bongholio's show, who is, of course, looking for a teepee for his bunghole. And for those of you that don't know, Dan Bongino blocked me on Twitter. And I don't know if Mark Levin has. I hope he will. How they showed 2,000 mules at Mar-a-Lago, so many people were there, and documents were there. Yeah, at the same time, Nancy.
Joe Biden calling out MAGA Republicans as semi-fascist.
Semi-fascist. I would knock the semi part off, depending on
Extremists, while the radical left falls right in line to attack conservatives. Joining us now is the great one, believe
that hashtag TM.
me, he's earned that title.
How?
Mark Levin. Mark, you heard my monologue there about fascism. Who are the real fascists? I mean, we want to give people back their money. Let them pick where their kids go to school, get the government.
Pick where your kids go to school. You mean undermine public education? And so that there's no funding. And I mean, I don't know how the plan is to educate like the poor or underclass in this country ever without it being, all right, never mind. We'll get to that later. I mean, it's just, we could chase all these kind of like standard conservative boondoggles all we want, but.
Back with regulations, that doesn't sound like fascism.
Yeah, the kind of regulations you guys want removed is why China is knocking down entire apartment blocks because they're fucking unlivable. You know what keeps lead out of your fucking drinking water? Regulations, dummy.
To me.
No, and by the way, thanks for having me on your great show here, Dan. Oh, you know what it sounds like to me that's going on in this?
Levin's used to just being set off to talk and ignoring the host. Hopefully he won't think that Bongholio has to take a shit because that's his job on Hannity.
Country. It's called the book Animal Farm. Remember that book? You probably read it when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I totally read. Yeah, I read that. Yeah. I remember reading that. Yeah. My dad used to read it to me before I went to sleep. We had one of those pull strings on the book where it would go, yeah, that.
And it was a takeoff on the old Soviet Union. And so the livestock, they're looking...
As opposed to the new Soviet Union?
...in the window, and they see the human beings living it up, eating wonderfully, overweight, eating some of their colleagues, as a matter of fact.
Colleagues.
And they decide that's enough of it. So we workers are going to rise up and overthrow them. The workers being the animals.
Thanks. This is for the folks that... I can't believe anybody who watches Bongholio hasn't read Animal Farm, but thank God Professor Levin is here to catch us up.
So in the end, that's exactly what they do, and they're forming their society. And at the end, of course, the animals are looking in the window, and who's sitting in there in the place of the humans are the pigs. And the pigs are doing exactly the same things that the humans did.
And this is an analogy about Mar-a-Lago, I think, the omelet bar at Mar-a-Lago. Okay.
Well, not to be crass, that's the Democrat Party. They're the pigs.
I see. All right. Well, that's interesting, because I didn't know that the pigs actually wanted all the other animals to have health care and clean drinking water and safe roads and bridges and fucking internet way out there in the chicken coop.
Sitting there at the table, living it up while the rest of the country suffers. And I was thinking about this earlier today, Dave.
Yeah, not deeply, but thinking about it. It crossed my mind.
And how distant we are from our founding.
Yes, it's true. It's been a long time since any of us have used flint and steel to start a fire and had to find someone to hand make us a pair of bifocals.
And it's all purposeful.
Yes, it is purposeful. It's that fucking clock. It keeps ticking forward. Why won't time stop when things are simple? When great examples of male power could achieve heroic king-like status in simpler times, where King Levin could rise up and everyone would fear his ironclad hand or whatever.
We have elections every 2 years, and then every 4 years, and every 6 years, depending.
Well, that would be every 2 years. Sorry. That's why you say every 2 years. Because that would also mean in 4 years and 6 years. Also 8, 10, 12. That's... Sorry. I'm just aggravated because this is supposed to be deep thought.
Depending on what institution is up for election.
Yeah, sure. Good point. Yeah. We have those elections. We just have different... All right, never mind.
But it's what happens between those elections that makes a huge difference in our country.
Yeah, and?
And for the...
You mean life?
Democrat Party and the Marxist left, one...
By the way, that's him dropping his book, We're Not the Marxist Left, Go Fuck Yourself. Unless he means like Marxist as in Mark Levinist.
Has nothing to do with the other. They are committed either through the bureaucracy, the courts, or elections.
To rule of law and equal protection under said law?
Or despite elections.
Yes, because the law should apply even if some asshole like Trump gets elected.
To advance their ideology and their agenda.
Unlike the Republicans who spent the last 2 decades making trigger laws around abortion for the day they could set the Supreme Court up to undermine it. For fuck's sake, man.
It was never on the line, 87,000 IRS agents. Nobody ran on that. Nobody talked about that.
Well, no, but they talked about billion-dollar corporations finally paying some income taxes. And when they would do that, it would require a lot more IRS agents to actually go after companies that fucking big, especially multinationals.
Or the destruction of the combustion engine and the gasoline automobile that's being pushed right now.
Excuse me?
The courts or elections, or despite elections, to advance their ideology and their agenda. It was never on the line, 87,000 IRS agents. Nobody ran on that. Nobody talked about that. Or the destruction of the combustion engine and the gasoline automobile that's being pushed right now.
The destruction of it? You mean to advance past it? Again, I don't know how many times I have to tell these motherfuckers, but these are the people who are like bootstrap freedom fighting, good old American patriots, salt of the earth. Your independence is the most important thing in the entire world. Meanwhile, you want to be on the fucking hook for a fuel source you have no capacity to refine and use. Even somebody who could strike fucking oil on their property will not have a refining system like a fucking still during Prohibition to turn oil into fucking gas that won't ultimately destroy their entire engine in their modern car. What you could do, though, you could have geothermal energy on your property. You could have a windmill on your property. You could have solar panels on your property and require no outside energy to charge your fucking car. That would be independence. And again, these assholes are, to me, this sounds like somebody arguing against these people who want to stop us from the freedom of hand cranking our fucking car, and now they want to go to some goddamn key.
Nobody ran on that.
Yes, they did. Everybody in the Democratic Party ran on advancing our environmental standards, and one of the things we've been dealing with majorly since the 70s is the pollution that comes from the tailpipe of a fucking car. Like, that's not new.
Even when it comes to the destruction of energy independence, Biden didn't.
We haven't destroyed our energy independence, and one of the ways we maintain it is when commuter cars no longer need fucking gasoline. It's a resource that the world makes, and we're in a market that competes with the rest of the world. And people like Russia and China and Saudi Arabia and all these other countries are competing and raising and lowering the price, and that affects our fucking economy. Imagine if it never had to again. Imagine if we had plenty of oil and gas just for our industry, and then all the commuter cars in the country ran on electric because we had a fucking smart grid, and you could pull your own energy if you wanted to, or even store energy that you get from the regular grid in a home battery, and then put it in your car and never have to rely on fucking charging up ever again.
Put it that way. Out of one side of his mouth, he talked about, we've got to get rid of gas cars and so forth. And then on the other side of his mouth said he'd never do that when he was campaigning in Western Pennsylvania. And so
it's just, Lord, why must you test my patience like this? Western Pennsylvania, they're not talking about gas for cars. They're talking about natural gas, fracking specifically for natural gas. That was the new industry in Pennsylvania. Not all gas is fucking car gas, you fucking dipshit. Oh, God, this is so stupid.
So I've concluded something and most people know, which is in order to...
Oh, boy, here comes the conclusion. All right, all right, I'm excited. He's going to wrap this all up. Prep yourself. Maybe get a piece of paper and a pencil. He's going to refine this fucking point. Here it comes.
To be a Democrat, you have to be a radical.
Oh, all right. So an infrastructure bill is a radical concept. Medicare and Medicaid being able to negotiate prices as a large buyer is radical. What am I radical about?
And in order to be a radical, you have to lie through your teeth.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Well, I didn't realize that was... So the radical right, what you're saying is radical right-wing speakers are lying through their teeth. Gotcha. Okay.
All the time.
All the time. Well, that must be exhausting. Can't you just open your... Do you always have to go like... Because people are going to know eventually that you're fucking lying. This is a dead giveaway. Can you speak? Never mind.
Because it's not the people you're working for, it's the people you're working on.
Look out.
Through propaganda and demagoguery and all the rest of it.
I don't know what that meant. I honestly... These are just gibberish sentences stacked together to be impressive. And I think Bongholio has left to go take a shit. That's my guess.
What's going on right now?
If you have diarrhea, call Mark Levin onto your show. There's a Post-it note that says that in the dressing room at Fox News.
Now, we have a recession.
And apparently there's a bout of food poisoning going around the entire studio.
Joe Biden says we're not in a recession. Inflation...
Technically, we're not.
...has grown.
Yes, supply and demand related inflation has grown up. It is not monetary inflation.
He says inflation is zero.
No, in July it was zero year over year.
We have pronouns instead of real names. Why?
Because you can't remember anybody's name at work, so you go, "Hey, who's that? Hey, guy.
To dehumanize us.
Humans don't have pronouns? All right, never mind. Again, does anybody know where the fuck he's going with this? It's just a list of right-wing grievance points.
So this semi-fascism thing is a tool out of the old book of every fascist and Marxist.
So calling someone a fascist is a tool of fascists. Okay. So is calling someone a semi-fascist tool? Or are you a semi-fascist tool who's using accusations of fascism to say that people are fascist for making this? I'm starting to lose consciousness. I'm starting to drift. All right.
Regime that's ever existed. That is, to paint your enemies in a certain way, to repeat it over and over and over again until...
Oh, do you mean like call them Marxists all the time, even when they're fucking not? To say that like regular order democratic taxation is somehow socialism? You mean like bullshit like that? You mean like Tiller the baby killer and shit like that? Like because you don't think a 10-year-old girl should be forced to carry a rapist baby to term?
it becomes true. You've now dehumanized them.
I see. So what happened is Biden called these assholes fascists for so long, and I'm at like, what, a week and a half, that they had no choice. They had to become fascists. It became true.
So their opinion doesn't matter. Their speech doesn't matter. They're the enemy of the state.
What the fuck? That's what Trump says all the time. What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, he's spelling out the Republican playbook. Asshole, you sound like you're at a Trump rally speech, like coffee clatch to try and develop the next one.
They are the enemy of progress.
Or the enemy of progress. Oy.
So
you mean the party of no? You mean like instead of coming up with actual plans to solve stuff, they just vote against shit? Or
I've been saying lately
a bunch of drivel
that we lived in the United States of the Democrat Party.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
More than the United States of America.
Oh, I see. I'm glad you made that. I was worried. I was like, but yeah, aren't we? Isn't there already a, fuck me.
Because the Democrat Party, quite frankly,
Democratic,
like communist parties all over the world, and
sorry, I got news for you, asshole. No matter how many times you call us communists, we ain't. We're not going to be communists. It just isn't how it works. Oh, fuck, man.
They are a progeny of it, whether they like it or not, whether they admit it or not.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, if I call you a name, you are that thing. Whether or not you will admit it or you even do any of the things that would actually make you that thing, I have called you that, and therefore you are that. And anybody who engages in that kind of name-calling behavior is clearly whatever they are calling that person. Fucking hell. How does he not smell almonds?
Most of them know it. And
I'm sorry. This is just stupid.
I'm not talking about the people out there. I'm talking about Washington and the apparatchiks.
The apparatchiks? That's a mountain range in Virginia, I think.
The party comes first. The party comes first in China. The party comes first in Iran. The party comes first in Cuba. And
in the Geo-fucking-P? So you're saying that because the Democratic Party exists and Democrats are a part of that, and we vote through that function, and the Republican Party has basically become a monarchical party that is the fiefdom of Trump. That's now the difference. So because we believe in one person, one vote, and for the record, anybody, I mean, we have some trolls here today. Very glad to have you with us. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be spreading this fast through the algorithm. Very exciting. Yeah, party first, hangover comes later. That's right. Yeah, those organized lockstep Democrats. Exactly. Oh, God.
In Venezuela, because the party is the country.
All right. So he states we're the United States of the Democratic Party, because Democrats have gotten elected to the House, the Senate, and the Congress, and they control those things. Republicans have done that in the past. Were we the United States of the Republican Party when that shit happened? No.
The party is the government, not for Republicans. You know.
Oh, and by the way, Charlotte, thank you so much. You're very, very welcome. Glad I can make you laugh. James, thank you for double dipping. That means a lot. And thanks for being a member as well. I just wanted to touch on those. Jim, thank you for the super chat as well. Please cover Al Franken. Sorry, there was it scrolled by just at that last second. Destroying a GOP lapdog. Okay, I will. I'll have to find that clip because I haven't watched it, but I'll have to find it and I'll do it tomorrow if that's okay. All right.
We talk about
unless it was on. I'll look it up.
Smaller government, as you say, the Constitution, checks and balances, and that.
Yes. Mark Levin wants a government so small in the United States that Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin can drown it in a bathtub.
That's why.
Thank
when
you, Paul
they
Thanos.
speak honestly, they're at war with anyone who disagrees with them, whether it's the courts. It's why they
look how upset Bongholio is. It's just disgusting. So I'm just coming back to this.
seek to destroy Donald Trump in their every waking moment.
That's the out. That was the button on that fucking clip. That we yes, trolling ain't easy. It ain't. For the record, the reason they call Mark Levin the great one at Fox News is because he is great at filling time. You know those gibberish rants that Glenn Beck does just to get to break, where he just kind of winds up with sort of grandiose yet idiotic language and then goes, but this will be the end if we don't do something different. And he goes like that and they go right to commercial. Same shit. Just Levin is kind of the have blather will travel version. Glenn Beck does it on his own show. Levin is just like he's like a hired gibberish gunslinger. He just comes in and puts your whole conversation down. It's like it's like a blather posse. Yeah. Well, listen, think over what we just heard. And then ask yourself, did we actually hear anything? Right? What did he say that was in all that talk? Mark Levin, never has so much been said about so little in such a short period of time. All right. Speaking of which, I don't know. I have to look at this next one. I have to go to this clip. I have to. I've got to. I'm sorry. I must. Because I don't understand the title. Is Ron Johnson on Diamond and Silk as a guest? And he's saying something about the laptop not being the reason for what? The season? Excuse me. Christmas. It's too early for Christmas. I don't even have my Halloween decorations up yet. And Jesus is the reason for the season. I'm just going to put it out there. Get used to the idea. But I don't. I'm already fucking confused. Oh, yes, Charlotte. We're going there. It's Diamond O' Diamond and Silk O' Silk. This will be an ad.
This is a full
look,
3
what
months
are the odds?
of food
More prepper
without needing
food.
any refrigeration
Shocking.
or special storage.
Shut the
You're
fuck
looking
up.
Can I just implement?
Okay, hold on. Can I just implement something? She said.
Yes, because I know that.
Can I just implement one thing? What?
Can I just implement one more thing? Because I know that.
Can I just implement one more thing? Oh dear.
We have an interview coming up real quick, and
They have an interview coming out real quick.
I know, and we want to bring the guests on.
Okay.
But I came past one more post.
Yes.
Okay, with Senator Ron Johnson, and I love Senator Ron Johnson.
Of course you do. I don't know why, but of course you do.
Lord knows I do.
Because he's going to be on your show?
But there was a comment that was made, and I just want to address it real quick.
Is it Ron Johnson?
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Senator Ron Johnson.
Okay. It's Wrong Johnson is what is no, that's Lauren Boebert's husband's nickname.
That's right.
All right.
He said, had the American people known the corruption of the Biden family and Hunter Biden,
they wouldn't have given a rat fuck.
Joe Biden would not be president.
Go ahead, Phil.
With all due respect, Senator Ron Johnson, and because I love you, I must tell you in love that that's a lie.
I don't know how I ended up on the... So what's the argument going to be? That America loves corruption and they were... I don't know if Diamond knows what Silk is talking about, because I don't. I'm holding this because I'm trying to figure out. All right, I'm not going to be able to figure it out. I'm not going to be able to figure out what the fuck she's talking about. It's not going to be possible. I can't find a logical line considering what they think about.
And the reason why I say that,
sir, is
because
uh-huh.
There was fraudulent activity that took place in the 2020 election.
Oh, I see. So Ron Johnson is saying that had the American people just known about the Hunter Biden laptop, which does not exist. Hi, trolls. Yes, there is no Hunter Biden laptop. I don't know why you're here. Go find the fucking thing. Go find it. Go on. Go ahead. Go look for it. Go try to find it. It's going to be great. I'm sure you'll have great luck. Hold on one second. Let me see if there's a... Whoops, 1 second in here. No, hold on. Hold on. This will probably be terrible, but... Hello, I'm the Hunter Biden laptop, and I just feel like people have been lying for a long time about who I am and where I am and what I've been doing, where I'm going, and is this good? Nope, this is better. Hi, how you doing? If people had just known about me, Donald Trump would have been president again. He would have. God damn it. Why wouldn't somebody? Oh shit, I'm a PC. They're on to me.
We already knew.
Basically, she's saying that it wouldn't have mattered if people knew about the Hunter Biden laptop because the Democrats stole the election. That's her argument. Okay, at least she sidestepped any of the detail, which is great. Good, but all right.
The corruption of the Biden family.
Yeah, we already knew that they did the thing with the. I mean, what was it? Was it Biden was buying hotels with money with Russian money through German banks and the Bank of Cyprus, and then put the former head of the Bank of Cyprus in as his Treasury Secretary, and then no, that wasn't him. Yeah, all right.
We already knew about Hunter Biden and the laptop. The FBI even knew. The media even knew, but they didn't tell us.
Okay. That's what Ron Johnson is saying, dummy. That's his argument, that the media knew and the FBI knew and they didn't tell anyone. I'm the one telling you there is no Hunter Biden laptop. It does not fucking exist. Just piss off with that nonsense. But Silk, that's what he's saying. That's what he said. That's what you just, what the fuck? Oh, shit. Oh, I'm not going to back up to the top of this fucking thing again. She read the quote from Ron Johnson that this has been around. Trump has been saying this. This is a talking point.
Yeah. They wouldn't let us put it out on social media.
That's what he's talking about, dipshit.
social
We were
media.
either fact checked for it
Right.
or they silenced
So
you.
we all
They either sent you a fat check. Wait a minute. What? Wait. How the fuck? Get back the fuck up. Where's my fat check? I am let's be honest. I am the king of there is no Hunter Biden laptop. I am like, a lot of people will dick around with, I think it's all a bunch of hooey and there's unverified. No, I'm the one saying, fuck you. It doesn't exist. At me, find it, show us. I don't like, and a hard drive labeled laptop, just piss off with that nonsense. I have gone through every John Paul McIsaac interview. I've gone through the Washington Post story where they vetted a hard drive named laptop and said the headline said how we verified the Hunter Biden laptop. Like, fuck off. I'm the guy who called it out and said, no fucking way. Where's my fat check? If there's not a fat check being handed out to me, then nobody got one.
media even knew, but they didn't tell us.
What'd they know? What'd they know? What'd they know, Silk? What did they know? Did they have the laptop? Did they physically see it? They ever lay a hand on it? Huh?
They wouldn't let us put it out on social media. We were either fact checked for it or they silenced you.
Oh, so you were fact checked. I thought they were writing fat checks. I was very excited.
We already knew about this.
Well, yeah, you're not going to get around that whole fact checking thing.
Right here, okay?
But you know what? So I think that's a narrative.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is my own humble opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, please. Give us your own humble opinion, Diamond.
It's a narrative that some are trying to pick up to downplay what happened.
What happened?
To pick up, to downplay it. I see. It's a game of Trump card Monty.
2020.
But if we let that totally go,
Right.
it's going to be some more nefarious things happening.
Understood. Logically, intellectually, if I think hard enough about what you just said, I feel that
we are going to have to fix this.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Okay. So if you don't focus on the Hunter Biden laptop now, there's going to be more censorship against it I'm getting lightheaded. I don't know what the fuck. What is this? Please make us. I can't do this. And Mark Levin, there's too much gibberish. I think if anything, the theme for today is that everybody who's defending Trump and trying to get him reinstated or believing that the sun shines out of his ass or any of that, those folks are in such trouble because of how much trouble he's in that they're just basically like, it's like they're chucking a bucket of words at the screen.
Where we have transparency in our election. It's free and fair election.
Right.
Only legal votes count.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there.
Not dead votes.
No dead votes. That's true. So the dead, like the guy who murdered his wife and used her ballot to vote for Trump, I'm with you. I don't think her vote should count. And I think his vote shouldn't count as well, even though he's alive, because he committed voter fraud by using her vote. And he was guilty of a felony when he did the voting, and therefore his vote shouldn't count. But you know what the interesting thing is? His vote counted. The guy who murdered his wife and then pretended she was missing and used her ballot to vote for Trump, and he voted for Trump, his vote for Trump counted. I mean, I would argue that hers did too. During the election cycle itself, it was one of many, so it was kind of swamped in that. I mean, retroactively, it was removed.
Not votes that you've made up, not people that you voted on behalf of them. You don't.
Yeah, I agree. If you murdered your wife and you used, quit it, God damn it. if you murdered your wife and used her ballot to vote for Trump, fuck you. So says Diamond and Silk.
Vote on behalf of anybody in this country. That person is supposed to vote.
That's right.
Ah, I see. Yes, we know.
Right. That's right. So
what does this have to do with what Ron Johnson said?
With the people that always say this, because this narrative is trying to get out there.
Yeah, I've heard it several times today.
You've misheard it several times, milady. You've misheard it several times because you're agreeing with it while you're arguing with oh, fuck me.
This is a lie. Now, for the people that did vote for Jim Crow Joe, that was their choice. And I believe if they knew about this, they would have still voted for Jim Crow Joe, because we know about a lot of nefarious things that Jim Crow Joe have done with the,
such as
in the last 48 years over the different legislations that have been passed.
Right. Yeah. The bills he was a part of, that's a legislative record. He didn't illegally pass any legislation, dummy.
His racist past, his racist speaking past,
his rhetoric.
His racist speaking past. So racist that he had Kamala Harris as his. It's a racism beard. That's what he's got.
His rhetoric, his racist legislation, and you still have people to vote for him. But he's not in the White House because nobody, American public, didn't know about his corruption or the Biden family or Hunter Biden. We knew that. Y'all just wouldn't let us tell y'all.
Not.
They're doing it again. It's the same. That's Ron. That's Ron Johnson's entire point. Dum dum. What the fuck? It's the same. Oh God.
I won't say Ron. The media.
Oh, by the way, I have no problem with them being mad at Ron Johnson. I don't know why they are, but I don't care.
Media
and
that's
social media.
That's right.
Would not let us talk about it. Wouldn't let nobody talk
about it. The media wouldn't talk about it.
No. So that's the point that he's making, is that had they been able to talk about it, it would have changed votes. It wouldn't have. That's a bullshit. That I don't know. Like, that's a Rasmussen polling thing. They're like, yeah, Democrats, if they'd have known about Hunter Biden's drug use, they would have taken it out on his dad. Get the fuck out of here.
They wouldn't even investigate it and talk about it.
Stop it with the narrative, because it's an insult to the American people that saw what happened in 2020.
Yeah, Ron Johnson, stop insulting the American people. So says Diamond and Silk.
2020.
That's right.
And if you want us to move on for 2020.
Oh, no, I don't. Don't get me. No. I do not want you to move on. I have no interest in you move. Please continue to hammer this fucking nail, to beat this dead horse into dog food. I don't care.
Maybe you need to open up a full-fledged investigation and get these DA and these judges involved. Yes. I'm not talking about the woke ones. I'm not talking about the ones that have been brought up by Soros. I'm talking about the ones that believe in America, American policy, America law, rule law.
The rule of law? You mean the kind of thing where, like, a criminal defendant... I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. I'm allergic to bullshit. It's just weird.
Also, the people that I'm talking about, let's check into it.
That's
See,
right.
all of these people keep chattering about this. Instead of weaponizing your DOJ and your FBI against the people, trying to silence them because it makes you look so guilty. How about opening up a full-fledged investigation? Republicans, how about saying, wait a minute.
So Trump was weaponizing the DOJ and making him look guilty, and now Republicans are failing to go after this because they're not doing an investigation, because they're not fucking in charge of anything. Oh, goddamn.
Maybe we do need to take a look at these things. Look at what Dinesh D'Souza found out.
Dinesh? D'Souza, that's his sister.
Look at what Mike Lindell found out.
Mike Lindell fucked around and found out.
Look at what these other people done. David Bossy and them done found out what they were. Look at why is all of this stuff coming out, and a lot of this stuff they have a lot of evidence, and you're dismissing it.
Yeah, just because they think JFK Jr. would make a great running mate for Trump, you think somehow they're crazy. I mean, it's terrible.
It up on the rug, trying to change the conversation, trying to change the narrative, and we can all see it.
Implementing excuses. How about you all start doing investigations instead of making up excuses?
Right, Ron Johnson. Fuck you, man. Why aren't you looking into this? Look, don't let the fact that the point you made is exactly the point they're making, but they're mad at you because they don't understand that was the point you're making, keep you from fighting for what they want you to fight for, which is against what you're saying you're for while being against it. I don't know. Like, again, this is on Lindell TV, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I think ultimately that's the important thing to remember. We're only halfway through this fucking thing. Look at this. This clip is 9 minutes and 57 seconds long. We're at 4:21 in this stuff. And I don't know what they're pissed about.
Right. Because, see, this is another excuse. You're trying to find reason behind this instead of the truth.
Right.
And I know that Senator Ron Johnson, and I love him dearly. Mm-hmm. He's a Republican. Yeah. I understand. I know. I got it. But this is a lie.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, Ron Johnson's a liar. You heard it from Silk.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
Yeah, Ron Johnson, you're a fucking liar. And Diamond and Silk have had it up to here with it. You know, if you keep lying like this, they might move into the sitting room. I don't know where the fuck.
It's a lie. I don't care how you slice it, dice it, flip it up, or rub it down.
Mm-hmm. I do. I'm not a fan of slicing and dicing it if you're going to flip it up and rub it down. I prefer 2 out of 4 of those things.
A lie. Yeah. Fraudulent activity took place in the 2020 election. Anytime the state legislators do not make the rules, and you got the Secretary of States, you got other people making backdoor deals. I'm gonna say
yummy.
Allegedly, because I wasn't there in the back door or at the back door when it was.
Well, some of us were, and we can report from the back door that there's a lot of shenanigans and flim-flam going on. They were sticking it up and rubbing it down. Moon River. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
Was making the deal, but when the state legislatures did not make some of these rules that was implemented in the 2020 election, it's called fraud. Right.
No, it isn't. They have emergency measures that, you know, in a pandemic would be equal to that if there was an earthquake or a flood or a tornado or a fucking hurricane, depending on what's there, so that they could continue to have a functioning election during an emergency. And those powers leave it up to the governor or the Secretary of State, whoever's in charge of that, to make those rules to make sure that the election continues. Fuck you? I don't know.
Right. Fraudulent activity, illegal activity took place.
Not at all.
In the 2020
No, it didn't.
Election. Now, for the ones that want to say, Sil, how do you know? Well, let me ask you this question.
All right, please, go ahead.
How do you not know?
Oh, touche. Because I'm on the side that found no evidence. So if it's like going into an empty house and there's no body and there's no smoking gun, and the people who live there have left a note in their own handwriting saying we're going on vacation, and you're saying these people have all been murdered. I'm on the side that goes, that calls them and goes, "Are you guys okay?" And they go, yeah, we're on vacation. Did you not get our note? I go, yeah, I saw the note. And you're standing there going, how do you know they wrote that note? How do you know that's their voice? All right, let's FaceTime them. We FaceTime them. Are you guys okay? Yeah, we're okay. They can do anything with computers nowadays. All right, fuck off.
That's right.
How do you not know?
Prove us.
That's right. Prove a negative. Sure.
Wrong.
Prove us wrong.
And don't tell me
We don't have to. We did. The election's been certified. Stupid.
a judge already did. They ain't looked at no evidence.
Yeah.
These judges ain't looked at no evidence.
You don't have any evidence. Again.
Yeah. How do you not know that nothing didn't happen in the
How do I not know that nothing didn't happen? Fuck me. How many negatives is that? Did something happen? Or did something not happen? Or did something that didn't happen? Or did something that happened not happen? Before it didn't? A motherfucker.
2020? Let me know.
Yeah,
All right.
why don't you investigate? I remember Mike Lindell wanted to give $5 million for any
$5 million.
Somebody could have got $5 million.
Yeah. They had to be somebody he allowed into his cyberama. Other people around the country were like, I'll take that bet. And he goes, no. You have to be at my cyberama and I have to okay you to be there. Well, the only people he okayed to be there were people that were working for him to prove his point.
All of these fact checkers.
One of them tried to claim the money and he wouldn't let him.
Y'all couldn't prove Mike Lindell wrong. Writing your hit pieces on him ain't gonna do it.
No.
Because we can clearly see that
No one's writing hit pieces on Mike Lindell. Nobody gives a fuck.
here.
I cover him because he's hilarious, not because he's got a point.
You may write a hit piece on Mike Lindell,
Nah, I probably won't.
but the American people see something's out of order here.
Yes, if believe me, if I'm ever writing a hit piece about Mike Lindell, something is out of order. I have way too much time on my hands, and apparently my guitar playing and my French speaking have reached master level. Professor Funbags, thank you so much for gifting the subs, and it was so lovely to meet you on Saturday.
When I got family members that are lifelong Democrats that voted for Biden,
Mm-hmm.
and they saying, wait a minute, something is wrong here. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
So they voted for the person who won, and then the first person won, and they're like, wait, they counted my vote? That's never happened before.
Something is definitely
And
wrong.
I tried to sway them, but it's in their mind. They've been brainwashed to vote one way, and now look.
Yeah, it had to hit
And now look, he won.
them in their pocketbook.
Now all of a sudden they talking about America, but they wasn't talking about America way back then.
Back when.
But now that America don't look like how America is supposed to look, now it's all about America.
That's right.
How's America supposed to look? You mean like a white male president and a white male vice president? You mean that kind of thing?
Right.
You mean like no black women on the Supreme Court? Is that how it's supposed to look? Are the bridges supposed to stay broken? Are we not supposed to have rural broadband? Are we supposed to stay in Afghanistan? What the fuck are you talking about?
To warn people, tell people, compel people, vote right so you won't get left.
What? But if it's rigged, how do you? All right.
R-E-D, remove.
No, I understand the. Yeah.
Every Democrat. That
RED, right.
means vote red.
That's right.
That's the
Vote
only
red.
way you can do
I see. So yeah, single party vote. Yeah, party line vote. Gotcha.
it.
Which is obviously cult-like behavior when Democrats do it, but when you guys do it, it's based on principle.
The regime got the House, the Senate, and the White House. Come on. Ain't done not one thing for America or Americans. But I tell you, they sure.
I mean, if I may, point of order, Mr. Chairman. HAL, who writes their script, they do.
Really print money, sending it overseas.
How the laptop bullshit is all over CNN right now. Yeah, I've seen them play this because CNN's going that direction.
The regime got the House, the Senate, the White House.
Then it's not a regime, is it? It's obviously a movement or something.
The media, the corrupt media.
Both?
The social media.
All three?
Got it all. But
Weird. So Democrats are incapable of doing anything except controlling everything. Okay, gotcha.
then want to call MAGA Republic extremists.
No.
Well, I mean, you know, I mean, didn't you guys actually, didn't it say we are domestic terrorists over the thing at your gathering?
Let me tell you what an extremist is.
Okay.
An extremist is somebody that keeps our borders wide open.
Yeah, we don't have wide open borders.
And fentanyl and people pouring across our borders that we don't know. That's extreme.
That's right.
And
Yeah, we don't do that. That's why when you see the stories that they've captured a lot of fentanyl coming across, that's a good thing. Dum.
extremists take and sign executive orders getting rid of our energy independence. Come on.
We are energy independent.
But we got oil right up under our feet, running somewhere to another country, begging them for oil.
Yeah, we're not begging them for oil. We're trying to get them to increase output to lower the price worldwide because we don't nationalize our resources because we're not a communist or socialist country, and therefore the price on the world market affects the price in our market, and so we want more of it flowing. So other countries like OPEC and Venezuela, if they lower their output, it raises the price, and that affects us too. So, but if you want to nationalize the oil and be Venezuela, just fucking say so.
And extremists look the other way when food processing plants are being burnt to the ground. Groceries going up and ain't saying.
So is the idea that these food processing plants, largely in rural areas, by the way, run by Republican governors, are the Republican governors not sending the fire department?
Saying nothing about this.
That's right.
That's what an extremist is. You want to talk about, don't blame that on a mega Republican.
That's right.
Because we believe in America first.
How? If you believe in America first, why didn't he fix infrastructure? Why were we dumping $300 million a day in Afghanistan, Trump's entire fucking presidency? For what? Why didn't he ran on getting us out? Why the fuck couldn't he? What about the CHIPS Act? You think technology is advanced in some sort of magical way that now we can make chips in America in the last 6 years?
Policy. Put America first. Grow
God damn, it's loud. I keep lowering it, but it seems like it's getting louder.
America. Yes. Grow the economy.
We are.
What about the small businesses?
Oh, you mean the 40 million of them that went out of business during Trump's lockdown?
Oh, girl.
No, they don't care about that. Girl. No, they don't hired up 80.
Well, then why the PPP loans? Why did Democrats flood the system with cash to make sure that they didn't go under?
7,000 IRS so that they can go ahead on what and do what?
Target people.
Well, yeah, multinational billion-dollar corporations.
Because they're not going to target these corporations that during the pandemic they took in billions. Money hand over fist.
Well, yeah, because they were uniquely suited to a pandemic situation. They aren't necessarily now. And as a matter of fact, it's more environmentally conscious to go to a retail store, even if you drive yourself there, because you're more than likely going to pick up multiple items that you have there instead of having every single one of them individually boxed and brought to your house over the course of days. Not that it's bad necessarily to order off of Amazon, especially during a pandemic. It helped a lot of people, but going to a retail park and actually doing your shopping that way, or going to the fucking grocery and getting your groceries, actually is a more efficient way of getting items ultimately. It's a reason why over time, in history, whether it was labor or fuel, or your fucking horse, going to one place where you knew the market would be to buy and sell things, as opposed to having to everybody, if they want a goddamn apple, having to come all the way out to your farm and go back, or bringing, like, how many apples you want? I'll ride over on, here's 2, and then I'll ride. No, you set up a fucking bin and people can buy them from there. It's more efficient that way. But during a pandemic, it's a great alternative to have.
They're not going to target the pharmaceutical companies that's making money hand over fist.
Wait a minute. She did not. She did not. Back up one more second. Hand over what?
During the pandemic, they took in billions. Money hand over fist. They're not going to target the pharmaceutical companies that's making money hand over fist.
Oh, come on. Really? Oh. First of all, these two have both gone off on the fact that Biden supposedly has dementia and can't talk. Secondly, hand over fish. What the fuck? Did she? Because Diamond just said hand over fist. She just heard her. The hell?
During the pandemic, they took in billions, money hand over fist.
Okay, she said hand over fist. That was clear. Then
they're not going to target the pharmaceutical companies that's making money hand over fist. You going to
go. Some days there's these little miracles, these little moments. I was wondering why this clip of all clips, Hal. What happened? What brought my life on its long and winding road to this clip for to meet at the crossroads of what the fuck we land at this moment. This is and the question is, after she just said hand over fish, did Diamond hear her say hand over fish? And will she correct or shoot her a glance of any sort? Or is she just so used to Silk saying shit like that she just breezes right the fuck by it? Let's watch.
Pandemic, they took in billions, money hand over fist.
Hand over fist.
They're not going to target the pharmaceutical companies that's making money hand over fist. You going to go after the little people.
I think she heard it. You're going to go after the little people.
Even the poor people.
Even the poor people. I see. You mean the people whose net worth has gone up in the last year and a half at the fastest rate since the early 2000s?
You ain't exempt neither, in my humble opinion.
Yes.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. Okay, it ends with an ad. So that's why we're at. She said fish. She totally said fish. That's the state of the Lindell network right now. I'm just saying, for the record. Now, I have, goddamn, it's just a shit ton of stuff. How in the world? Let's do this because we haven't done one of these. This one surprised me. So, I don't know what the attack point is on this one. But, so, this is Jimmy Dore. Dems love dirty money. Okay, not a surprising title from him at all for a graphic. It's not a surprising thumbnail. Totally in line. Picture of Biden, with a wry smile on his face. Stacks and stacks of money. A black woman in the center. But look at the title of the actual thing. Yeah. It's Nina Turner. Look at that. Oh, Lisa, a happy birthday to both of you. To you and Lois. Lois was the name of my first girlfriend ever. All right. Anyways, so Dems love dirty money, and yet DNC biatch slaps progressives and continues raking in dark money.
You ever wondered what actors and actresses do when they have to get in shape really fast for a movie? Because I can promise you,
they take months.
So you remember, I've showed you this before.
Yeah, well, it's not like you have original moments. Fuck, this is 18 minutes long, this fucking clip. All right, I reserve the right to bail on this once we get to the point. I'm going to give it 5 minutes at most. Because it's, judging from the title, it seems like it's just going to get grosser and grosser.
Joe Biden admitting.
I would agree that your service in the Senate up to this point has not reflected any particular concern for the larger contributor.
Well, the fortunate thing is I didn't have many larger contributors, and the only reason, I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talked about it. But what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son. And so I had to go out.
Yeah, he was joking.
And guess what? He did. He's now 79. He's been getting big cash for the last 39 years.
Oh, yeah? What, does he own 4 golf courses? Does he have a winter house?
I had to do the real sick shit nobody would do to get there.
That's a hooker reference, I think, from Kurt, and he's proud of that moment. He felt like he got in on it. It held, and he's gonna just bask in the warmth of that gag.
And look at that crowd of assholes chuckling at the whore. Isn't it eerie? They're all
A crowd of assholes chuckling at the whore because they know he's joking.
laughing.
They cut to them. You see them in the video. Look at these bow tie weirdos.
These bow tie weirdos. Don't let Tucker hear you say that, Jimmy.
Oh, he wanted to be a whore, but they wouldn't give him the money.
I know that feeling.
Oh, boy.
No, you don't, Kurt. No, you don't.
I said, come on, let me suck your dick so I'm ready. And they said, sorry, kid, we're into DILFs.
He read that off the paper. That's one of the jokes that Kurt gives him. Now, that piece of paper he holds in his hand, those are Kurt's jokes. That's how Kurt stays on the show.
What are DILFs?
Oh, my fucking God. You read the punchline and you don't know? Well, first of all, as a father, a DILF is a dad I'd like to fuck. Like MILF. I mean, a little bit of deductive reasoning might bring you to that. As someone who was once in the running to be a DILF of Disneyland, I would like to say for the record, I'm very aware of what that is. And the fact that Jimmy read that joke and has no fucking idea, if anything sums up Jimmy's work ethic, that's it.
Like a MILF?
Dads I'd like to fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he had to ask.
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought. And then he winks. No, you didn't.
Look at these fucking people.
Look at the bow tie kid. Oh, who'd he grow
All
up?
right, yes. Yes, it's a clip from the fucking 80s. Dude, you're wearing almost that exact same fucking shirt. The only thing missing from that dude and Jimmy is a bow tie and aging poorly.
Up to be.
He grew up to be Jimmy. What the fuck are you talking about? Look.
Wow.
Probably works
That's what Tucker was wearing back then, you dipshit.
in a think tank coming up with new.
Coming up with the.
This,
He just bailed on it. Look, that's improv.
Bow tie kid. Oh, who'd he grow up to be?
Wow.
Probably works in a think tank coming up with new.
Look at this. This is the guy who's getting laid.
New, nothing. Just nothing. New. Probably works at a think tank thinking of new. I got nothing. We're going to do porn stash joke?
Yeah.
That guy there. That guy with the mustache, he's making it happen. This guy's selling cars. Or copiers. He's selling copiers.
That looks like he has like Max Boothead. I bet he works in some kind of...
That guy.
Yeah, that
anyway,
guy.
So I'm getting caught up.
Yeah. I mean, it's comedy gold, so I understand how you get caught up in it.
So there's Joe Biden. Biden actually complained in 1974 that big donors are able to decide who can and cannot run for office. How long is the American public going to put up with a small group of men and organizations determining the political process by deciding who can run and who can't run? Forever? The answer would be how long? Forever.
Well, no. He was way behind in fundraising compared to a bunch of other people, including Bernie, by the way. And was he the big money hit when he ran at any point? Was he the big money hit in the Dem primary?
because now you're the head of that stupid system.
That stupid system.
And why do I bring it up? Because the DNC, they've been telling them to get rid of the dark money. This is from September 2nd. Now is the time for Democrats to ban dark money from primaries. September 6th. Opinion, it's time for Democrats to act on dark money ban in primaries. Let the DNC know Democrats must ban dark money from the primaries. That's September 7th.
So it's the same person writing it in multiple places? They're just reposting the exact same article?
And abhorrent and anti-democratic outrage as DNC panel blocks vote on dark money ban.
This is Common Dreams, September 8th. The Democratic Party, by not allowing this resolution to come to the floor, is complicit in the railroading of democracy itself, said former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner.
Wow. The Democratic Party, by not allowing this resolution...
Hold on. Let me see if they... It's always good. Let's see. Common Dreams. Abhorrent and anti-democratic. Here it is. They're both like, oh, I'm staring and staring. Okay. Democratic Party, by not allowing this resolution to come to the floor, is complicit in the railroading of democracy itself, said former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner. Democratic National Committee panel on Thursday refused to allow a vote on resolution aimed at banning dark money from the party's primary process, a decision that sparked outrage from the progressive DNC members and others who backed the proposal. Former Ohio State Senator Turner, who faced an onslaught of dark money during her recent campaigns for U.S. House seat, told Common Dreams that it's really a sad state of affairs. This should be judged through the lens of right and wrong, said Turner. It is wrong to allow dark money to enter any primary state, any race. What it does is it suffocates the will of the people in those districts. Let's take my district, for example. You think that dark money that came in after me cares that Cleveland is the poorest city of its size in the nation? Do they care that 50% of the children who live in Cleveland live in poverty? No, they don't give a damn. Dark money. So neither does the Democrat who will now have that seat, is what she's saying. Dark money taints the will of the people. Led by Nevada Democratic Chair Judith Whitmer, the resolution would have prohibited dark money funding during any and all Democratic primary elections and established procedures for the investigation of dark money used by candidate committees, as well as possible discipline action. Dark money refers to spending whose sources isn't disclosed and is often untraceable. Supporters of the ban cited the torrent of dark money that poured into Democratic primary races across the country this year in an effort to defeat progressive candidates and bolster powerful incumbents, a strategy that, in a number of high-profile cases, succeeded. During her argument in favor of the vote, by the way, Nina Turner lost her district fair and square. Her ads were as milquetoast as anyone else's. There was no, policy for policy, there might have been an argument debate-wise between her and her opponent, but the ads she ran were not indicative of what she was saying the rest of the time. That was her problem. Jennifer Z, executive director of Progressive Advocacy Group, Our Revolution, called the DNC panel's decision to block a vote on Whitmer's resolution abhorrent and anti-democratic. Okay, hold on one second. Progressive, the resolution. Boom. Let's bring this up. This is the reference to it. Resolution 18 passed before it says the party condemns the use of dark money and calls on Senator Whitehouse to close Act to be passed. The one that failed called on the DNC to ban dark money in primaries and establish procedures for possible disciplinary action. So the difference is that it condemns it and want the Disclose Act to be passed. They want to do it that way, so it's even for everybody. They don't want to pants themselves in an upcoming election. That's what it is. So they don't want to ban dark money and then have the Republicans swamp them with cash. They want it to be illegal for everybody. Gotcha. Okay. So 18 passed, 19 didn't.
Come to the floor.
I'm sure that Jimmy will bring up the Disclose Act, and I'm sure that Jimmy will mention that 18 passed and 19 didn't.
Is complicit in the railroading of democracy itself. You know who said that? Former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner, who is a bonafide Democrat. You gonna leave the party? No. You gonna stop voting for Joe Biden and the people who just did this? No.
She'll block you.
She'll block me. She'll act like she didn't block Joe Biden.
Well, she might be blocking you because of this shit, Jimmy. It might have nothing to do with politics. It might just be that you're a fucking pig.
She blocked me.
Right. Well, I think that shows taste and breeding on her part.
A Democratic National Committee panel on Thursday refused to allow a vote on a resolution aimed at banning dark money from the party's primary process. A decision.
Okay, we read this part of it.
That's what they do.
Hold on, back up.
The other Democrats sometimes come up to you with an actual trombone so they can personally play the wah wah in your face and laugh at you.
That's what they do to Nina Turner.
Oh my God. These are the jokes that look at him looking at Kurt. These are the jokes that Kurt gave him. Look at the look. Look at that. Kurt with his don't fire me look. Jimmy with his that's the best you got look. Ugh. Oops.
That's what they do to
we know what it means. Yeah, we get it. That doesn't quite look like what you're doing, Kurt, but
hey Nina.
You have like the plunger in the end of it.
Yes.
No, keep going. No. It's working. I'm with you. We haven't struck gold yet, but I'm sure it's there.
Here she is, former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner, a DNC member who faced an onslaught of dark money during her recent campaigns for the U.S. House seat. She told Common Dreams that it, quote, it really...
she alleges that there was an onslaught of dark money.
A sad state of affairs for the DNC Resolutions Committee to not even bring this to the floor so that we members on the DNC can... It is a sad state. And what are you going to do about it? Fucking nothing.
She went on to add, what are you going to do?
She went on to add, I guess we're just going to take it again.
What? That's the job.
This should be judged through the lens of right and wrong, said Turner. It's a wrong to allow dark money to
we read this part already.
Enter the primary in any state, in any race. When it does, it suffocates the will of the people in those districts. But I'm going to keep going along with this party.
It should be judged. I should have
watch how the ultimate, the purpose of what Jimmy is saying here is to stop the Democratic Party. Not because he gives a shit about where the money comes from, really. Not because he, wants to clarify so that real Dems win, any of that shit. No. He just wants the end of the Democratic Party. He's just fighting. This is subterfuge on behalf of the GOP.
Full-headed Jackson Hinkle hairs. Why should a lot of stuff should happen.
A lot of stuff should happen. Let's take my district. This is her talking still. Do you think the dark money that came in after me cares that Cleveland is the poorest city of its size in the nation? Do they care that 50% of the children who live in Cleveland live in poverty? No, they don't give a damn. Hey, Nina, you know who else doesn't give a damn?
You.
Joe Biden and your beloved Democratic Party.
See, there you go. So let's look at this real quick. Let's see. In 2018. This is Community Solutions blog. When was this? That's 2019. Hold on. 2021. There you go. The poorest city in the nation in 2019. 114,000 people living, including 37,000 children. This is where they're getting these stats, just so you know, or whatever. Cleveland, the city of Cleveland is deemed the poorest big city in the nation in 2019, with 114,000 people living in poverty, including 37,700 children, according to the report from the Center for Community Solutions. That's these folks. Two organizations work to curb child poverty in Cleveland. Let's see. In 2019, the city of Cleveland was named the poorest big city in the nation. Data from the 2020 census found that 32.7% of Cleveland residents live below the poverty line. That's why they're like 50% of the children, because it's 32% of all people and there are fewer kids living in town. That doesn't include the outlying area where most children live in the Cleveland area, but whatever. The United Nations marked November 20th as World Children's Day, according to the UN's website. Theme for 2021, Better Future for Every Child. Organizations like Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Ohio and Laura's Home Women's Crisis Center are two of the many organizations try to curb the cycle of poverty, something 46.1% of the city's children are facing. Linda Uvegas is the chief executive director of the city mission and program manager at Laura's Home. They come in crisis, and when they provide stability, and so we provide some stability, and then to self-sufficiency for each person that leaves here. 75 women completed the program. This is especially when the eviction moratorium ended on September 1st. We're seeing a greater need. We have made many calls. Often we have to turn them away. 2010 shows what we know is the child poverty and poverty in general, those experiencing homelessness, is very complex. There's no one answer that fits everyone. Okay. This is essentially... And the Boys and Girls Club serves about 2,500 kids. Census data showed 115,000 children could benefit from the organization's services. Absolutely heartbreaking. And on the other hand, it couldn't be a higher mandate. It's absolutely critical we solve this. And clearly, our region is astute at solving really hard problems. And so, why can't we be really great at solving this problem as well? Despite the city's population loss, not all of the city's 34 neighborhoods saw a decrease in population. So, okay, because the city people have moved out of the place as well. Hold on one second. Let's see. In our Cleveland Clinic, okay, Cleveland 640. Okay, that's the Cleveland Clinic. 1 second. Fed funds policy matters. Cleveland. This is. Here you go. Cleveland Heights. All right. This is the. There's so much. Yeah. You know who doesn't care? You're Democrats. Cleveland Mayor Bibb allocates $462 million in federal COVID recovery funds. Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb has announced where his administration will allocate the final $462 million in American Rescue Plan and Recovery Act funds. Cleveland was granted 2 ARPA payments in 2021 and 2022 for a total of $512 million, which marks the 8th highest amount in the country. The money will be spent according to what's been called Mayor Bibb's Rescue and Transformation Plan. We must think creatively and strategically about how we allocate the funds. My administration is focusing on initiatives that will set a foundation for long-term, tangible impacts for the residents of Cleveland. These allocations allow us to maximize the use of federal funds in the areas that our community identified as priorities. Here's how Cleveland will distribute the $462 million which have been put into place after Joe Biden was elected, specifically targeting the Cleveland area because of its needs. Inclusive recover slash housing for all, $196 million will go to housing. Budget stabilization, $110. Modern City Hall, $50 million. Violence prevention safety, $30 million. Closing the digital divide, $25 million. Education for everyone, $20 million. Lead Safe Cleveland, $17 million. Arts and neighborhood amenities, $10 million. City participation fund, $5 million. This is what the Democrats are doing for Cleveland now that they actually are in charge. While Jimmy wants to make the case that Democrats don't give a fuck, this is targeted money specifically for the needs of Cleveland. Again, Jimmy doesn't give a fuck.
Party.
Why would anyone leave the church that molested him?
I don't know. $462 million? I mean, it reminds me of that shirt. I'm not gay, but $20 is $20, right? I suppose. Is that where we're going?
So James Ogsby tweets this out. James Ogsby's a big shot in Democratic politics and stuff. He says DNC Resolutions Committee didn't pass our call for a ban on dark money in the Democratic primaries. They didn't even allow a vote on it. I'm furious, and all Democrats should be too. But he's not going to do a fucking thing about it.
Why is he furious? You didn't expect this?
You didn't expect them to do. You didn't see this coming.
Yeah, no, they want to pass the Disclose Act.
I'm not saying it's James Ogby's fault. I'm saying that.
Sure you are.
That he's going
It's just the Democratic Party's fault, just by the existence of democracy. You know what it is? It's ultimately that we have a democracy is the problem, Jimmy. That's
just
obviously.
take it. And he's going to keep voting Democrat and pretending that.
Because the positives outweigh the negatives by far.
Can you imagine how disillusioned Ben Glebe would have been if he progressed in his race and found out?
The last time party leaders did this was on my February 2003 resolution to oppose the Iraq War. Wrong then, wrong now. So why do you stay with this fucking party?
It's a little bit better.
Because they're a little bit better. So
it's a little bit better? Is it a little bit better? Or does none of this exists without Joe Biden? None of this. None of this exists without Democrats. None of this. It's a little bit better, is what he's making the case. This is the difference between this and nothing is a little bit. Of course, neither of these assholes lives in Cleveland. I have family in Cleveland. I spend holidays there, sometimes twice a year. I don't know, other than Pickwick and Frolic, I don't know that Jimmy has ever been to Cleveland for any other purpose.
Then here's Nina Turner.
Certainly wasn't to help Nina get elected.
She says, wrong as hell. And then below it, expected though, and when are you leaving, or will you continue to accept this abuse? She's going to continue to accept this abuse.
Is she going to give up her whole...
And that's why he says this about her, I guess. Unless there's a different BITCH that he's talking about.
Career?
She's not going to give up her career for fucking people. So that got 50.
Right. So the idea is that you start off, by the way, they're aligning the clips shown. What Jimmy is telling you right now is that the horror reference he was making to Biden earlier should equally apply to Nina Turner. And he can't imagine why she would block him.
Like, she got ratioed, right? 103 likes. This guy, the constituent with a rose.
She got ratioed? She got 50 hearts, 8 comments, 3 retweets.
Ratioed her. Nice.
What do you mean ratioed her? This just says Jimmy Dore retweeted. You bumped this up to the top so that you could grab it, I guess, or this was just related in his mentions. So you backed out on it so it would show it in line. It's not a fucking ratio. It barely got any attention at all.
Nice going, constituent with a rose. Led by Nevada Democratic Party Chair Judith Whitmer, the resolution would have prohibited dark money funding during any and all Democratic primary elections and established procedures for the investigation of dark money used by candidate committee, as well as possible disciplinary action. So what is dark money? Dark money is we don't know where the fucking money came from and you can't trace it.
If they did prohibit it, as soon as everybody started paying attention to, I don't know, who's getting slapped at the Oscars this week, they would have quietly got rid of it anyway.
Yeah, so, I mean, why are we even upset that they didn't vote for it? Because they would have taken it away afterwards because the democracy is terrible.
So there's no reason to be mad.
Yes, this whole segment is pointless.
Supporters of the ban cited the torrent of dark money that poured into Democratic primary races across the country this year in an effort to defeat progressive candidates and bolster powerful incumbents. A strategy that, in a number of high-profile cases, succeeded. Yeah, I don't know why progressives stay in this goddamn party. Start your own party. If you get 10% of the polling vote nationally, you now are the kingmaker. You can now control things.
And the sad thing.
Yes, on behalf of the Republicans, you will now guarantee Republican control of everything, which is Jimmy's whole point.
They didn't even go to all that trouble because all these progressives are pussies that have no guts to do anything.
They got
right. So why wouldn't you want pussies with no guts to be in charge of everything? Again, this is one of the stupidest fucking arguments.
None. There's no bigger bunch of fucking gutless, ballless wonders than progressive politicians.
So why would you want them running things? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Joseph, so this guy's name is Joseph Javarhisi. He's the executive director of Our Revolution. That's that group that Bernie started. And I don't even know how they could have the revolution in their name. They're fucking go along, get along. They're establishment prop ups. That's all they are. Our Revolution is a bullshit organization.
All right. I'm done. Like, that's the state of Jimmy Dore right now. That's the state of his show. That's the quality you can come to expect. That's the argument. That's how you break down just any legislative priorities that he believes should be there. This is who he goes after. There will be no attacks on Trump on his show, not on his watch, ladies and gentlemen. He is simply just reiterating. Let's see if I can find the. Yeah. Hold on one second. This is. He's going to be an ad on here first. This is.
When I need parts I can trust, I go to eBay Motors.
I turned off the audio on this so you guys don't hear this, but I'm hearing it, so it's very loud. Apologies. But he's talking about the Ukraine war, and this I will probably find fascinating. I have no doubt his take on it will be magical. So we'll dip into this 1 second. We'll do a needle drop as soon as this fucking ad is over. Jesus Christ. And then we will see.
It's like exposome.
Exposome, which encompasses an individual's... Oh, okay, he's going to tell us what it is.
Like a biome.
Oh, God. All right. Is there...
No, you didn't watch it. Nobody else watched it but me?
I watched it.
Oh. I thought the fight before was actually... It was more exciting.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, let's... I want to hear what his fucking take is on this stuff. Because, remember... This is the asshole who was telling us, we don't even need to take a big chunk of this. I just got to jump in and see what he's saying right now live about this stuff, because remember, the last time we covered Jimmy, talking about Ukraine, he said they were a failed state, and I quote, it was a failed state.
Rejoicing too hard. So here, this is like a GIF, and it's going to show you how...
It's a GIF. Yes, it's just a GIF. Don't take it seriously. Hold on.
On September 7th is when they started this offensive. And so here's how it started. On September 7th and 8th, they started here, and then it kept going. And then on the September 9th, you see how it spread? September 10th, it spread. And then September 11th...
How's this it's going to be bad news? It's going to be bad news.
Which was yesterday. This is the Ukraine forces taking back over the areas that Russia had captured.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know.
And then that was it. So
yeah. So break it down for us, big guy. I got to hear, because remember, failed state. Why would we arm these people? They're Nazis anyways, and they don't deserve to win, and they're going to lose anyways. Same as Marjorie Taylor Greene, that we're just prolonging the inevitable by arming them. Let's hear it.
And can you imagine how much better Ukraine would be doing, Kurt, if 70% of the weapons we sent hadn't vanished in this thin air?
See, there we go. This is the whole, that's the Fox News, John Solomon, Trump world talking point. They haven't. They have 70% of the weapons we've given them have not vanished. Like, that's just a garbage talking point. No basis in reality. This is a Tucker Carlson thing. Yeah, and there's the bullshit. And again, I would argue exactly. Let's take it at face value. So the Ukrainians are fucking Russia up with 30% of the weapons we've sent.
Look how great they did with only 30% of the stuff we sent them. Isn't that
Imagine.
great? So here's, and they were saying this was a big waste of lives and money, huh, Jackson? I mean, look at that. Look. They advanced a whole sliver of territory. Isn't that fantastic?
What is the pink?
A sliver of territory? What do you mean, what is the pink? That's before it's verified and after. Like, these guys just don't give a fuck.
So the pink is where they're taking over. That's where Ukraine's taking back over.
Oh, I see.
But
Kurt thinks that when the GIF resets, Russia gets the land back.
And it only costs about $100 billion. and most of Europe will freeze this winter. What a bargain.
Oh, by the way, that's the other Russian talking point, is that they're going to count on Russia, like Russia is counting on Europe freezing, that winter will be their biggest weapon. That is a direct talking point.
But we had to do
What a bargain.
We had to do it to protect Europe.
We had to do it to protect Europe. So here's how ABC News is reporting this. Oh, I don't have my thing in.
No, it's not surprising.
That's what she said. Okay, here we go.
Be a major turning point in the Ukraine war.
A major turning point in the Ukraine war.
Ukrainian forces retook significant territory from retreating Russian forces in Ukraine's east this weekend, and Russia now retaliating with new...
Jimmy's getting his Herbert Lom twitch again in his left eye. Watch for it. He's not liking this news.
Attacks on critical infrastructure and power grids.
I'm cracking up. I haven't had anything but a chicken leg and some clear broth since Wednesday.
Tom Sufi-Burge is on the scene in Ukraine. Good morning, Tom.
Yeah, good morning, George. That lightning advance by Ukrainian forces in the northeast has continued. Overnight troops also now pushing right up to the border with Russia. And this morning, a stunning admission from Moscow that it has lost almost the...
Look at Jimmy just checking his notes. What was that about a sad trombone earlier? There was something about a sad trombone they were mentioning. If I could only think of at what point is there a all right.
The entire Kharkiv region in a matter of days. This morning, Ukrainian forces marking massive victories in the...
Like he's just checked out.
Northeast.
Not stopping and starting.
Their troops now controlling the strategic military hub of Izium, which was occupied by...
Which neither Jimmy nor Kurt can intellectually comprehend.
Russian forces for months. Now, videos circulating online show abandoned Russian tanks and military equipment littering the area. Ukrainian soldiers raising their flag once again over the city. It's a massive blow for Putin. And across a large swathe of territory, troops liberating dozens of towns and...
And again, good point, like moment to point out that Jimmy's making the case that Kiev had already fallen a month ago. That it was already done. It was just a matter of just, they were just pretending.
Villages in video released by the Ukrainian military.
I think it's interesting that he says huge swathes instead of swaths. I just wanted to point that out. Okay.
And
it's English.
He said they just blew Putin. That's a weird way to put it.
That's a weird way to put it.
Civilians greeting and embracing Ukrainian troops.
Oh, look, they're making out.
In this map here, you can see the amount of ground Ukrainian forces have retaken in blue near the city of Kharkiv. Officials say they have reclaimed more than 1,000 square miles. President Zelensky praising his soldiers, saying, "Everyone sees and notes your actions in the north, south, and east of Ukraine. The world is impressed. The enemy is panicking. Ukraine is proud."
And Jimmy Dore is mad you're not dead.
The Russian military retaliating, with Russian missiles striking power stations.
Look at that. Huh? They're retaliating. So they're still in this. We could still win at the buzzer. We've got 2 timeouts left.
Another civilian infrastructure throughout Ukraine.
Yeah, like monsters do.
backing Ukraine's military and, key to its success, a vast army of volunteers, here making them clothing and kit. Mechanics turning civilian cars into military vehicles, and these volunteers making plastic artillery pieces. From a distance, they're realistic replicas, decoys to dupe the Russians.
By the way, that's one of the things that they built is these fake HIMARS vehicles. They take Russian vehicles and they make them look like HIMARS launchers. They park the HIMARS launcher next to it. They fire missiles, and then they drive the HIMARS vehicle away, and the thing still sitting there looks from a UAV like it's the actual HIMARS thing, and then they blow it up. It's happened multiple times. It's hysterical. The Russians were claiming that they had destroyed several HIMARS that continued to fire on them for days.
Secret's out now.
Where did that money go?
What do you mean? This
Ukrainians claim they are also...
Wait, why are they MacGyvering weapons? We send them all that money.
They're not MacGyvering weapons, dumb fuck. Those are decoys. Did you not hear the... All right.
Right?
Right? I mean, where'd the money go? I mean, if they were winning, at least... Jesus Christ. They think this is... First of all, they think that part's funny, but they also think that they're excited at the idea that Russia might retaliate.
Progress in the south and on the offensive in the eastern Donbass. The Ukrainians are on a roll, and there is no doubt that US weaponry and intel have made this possible.
So let me bring in Jackson. He said the eastern Donbass, they are even rolling into there. So tell me what's really happening here.
Yeah, it's all a lie. Tell me that Russia's really winning. You're the Putin whisperer. He's bringing somebody in to make everybody feel better. This is his vice chairman in charge of feels.
So let me put this up.
So the situation on the ground.
Yeah. Where are you on the ground? Is your dude on the ground? Is he there? Like Philip was there for us?
Is obviously not how those on MSNBC or CNN or Good Morning America are painting it. What really happened? Is there are 4 staging operations of offensives that Ukraine is
dude, that's a regular clicky blink you got on there, buddy.
Currently launching.
What happened is obviously there's a lot of is he Morse coding with his eyes that he like I am full of shit, tick 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 tick.
There's one in the Kherson region that failed miserably, in Ukraine, sadly, because I don't think we want to see anyone die, lost thousands of troops in that. There is also an operation underway.
By the way, you're assuming that Jimmy doesn't want to see a lot of people die. I citation needed. Also, excellent production quality here for a show that makes millions of dollars more than I do on my show. Just saying. I mean, I haven't been doing this as long, so cut me some slack.
In the Liman region.
It's good. In the Liman region, sure.
Which is south of Kharkiv, and that is failing as well. And there is another operation that's about to be underway that would be targeting Mariupol eventually. The only one...
Which is going to fail because you want it to?
That has succeeded thus far is the Kharkiv offensive, which is...
The only one, the giant one that just reclaimed 3,000 kilometers of land?
Is what we're discussing right now.
Mm-hmm. The one that's actually happening?
And basically... What we saw in Kharkiv was over the past several months, the Russians had little to no reinforcements and Russian military personnel in the region. They had tried for quite some time to move out of this region and closer to Slavyansk, which would have given them a more beneficial positioning
and they were unable to. Now do Izium.
In the region. But
by the way, again, this is the idea, like that whole like railway area where the Russians were bringing in all of their arms and supplies for their soldiers. That little junction point for all of it wasn't important.
They kept getting bogged down. So the Russians had pulled just about all of their personnel out of the region. There was just National Guardsmen, policemen, and a frontline picket of, Lugansk Lugansk People's Republic.
Lugansk? You mean the Luhansk? It's an H, not a G. Does that matter?
Fighters.
Right. I mean, it's his, you know what? He's their expert.
But overall, the Russians had pulled out pretty much all their troops. And
yeah, because they were baited into thinking the attack was coming in Kherson, dummy.
when we saw the Ukrainians opt to stop their Kherson offensive at the direction of the commander's illusion.
Saha says, well, we used plywood silhouettes and lit a fire behind them to draw thermal signatures, decoy 101. Yeah, I mean, the Allies used inflatable tanks to trick the Germans into thinking that D-Day was happening on another front. This is Charlie Kirk with an actual bat.
In Ukraine and send all of their personnel to Kharkiv. Russia decided to withdraw all their personnel from the Kharkiv region. And
yeah, this is, by the way, the talking point from Russia. Hold on one second. Let me just show you. Like, it's one thing for these assholes to kind of like draw their own conclusion about this. But hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can find the dude defending it. Because the other big story that they're saying on there is, let's see, do the Russian MOD. Let's see if he puts this gray zone. GG John poses a map in the Russian MOD. This, Gray Zone Russian TG channel posted this map made by the Russian MOD. That's about 8,400 kilometers they are not going to control anymore. They're going to retreat to the Oskol River. That's their, okay, here it is, this guy. So this is the dude saying, we are not retreating, we are advancing in another direction. We decided to regroup and move our forces where they will do more good. That shit. Yeah. That's his, let's see, Russian MOD Igor Konashenkov claims Russia has withdrawn its forces from Snake Island. Okay, this is a different one. Hold on. Let's see if I can find the, I'll grab his name real quick. Copy. Paste. It's good. Igor, sorry. I left the I off. Yeah, Russia has withdrawn its forces from Snake Island. Where you go? Regroup for. There it is. This is the one. This is the guy. Here's his full statement. Check this against what Fuckstick here is saying. Hold on. That's the one where they're sending chicks with AIDS. That's their other argument. So here we go. Here you go. A special military operation to liberate Donbass. The decision has been made to regroup Russian troops located in the Balaklia and Izium areas in order to boost efforts in the Donetsk area. With that aim, over the last 3 days, an operation has been carried out to draw down and redeploy Izium Balaklia force to the Donetsk People's Republic. As part of the operation, a number of distraction and demonstration measures were carried out. Yeah, we were leaving some, and the designation of troops really. In order to prevent damage to Russian forces, the enemy was hit with powerful fire using aviation, missile forces, and artillery. In 3 days, over 2,000 Ukrainian foreign militants have been eliminated, as well as 100 pieces of armored equipment and artillery. This dude is the fucking Baghdad Bob of Balaklia. He's a Balaklia Bob at this point. But that's the case this prick is making.
Izium, which is directly to the south of Kharkiv. Now,
and totally useless, except as a logistical hub.
Video, they said that Izium is a strategic military hub of the Russians. That's not true.
Why? They didn't even want it. They just killed a bunch of civilians and murdered a bunch of people just to have it. They don't even need it. I mean, you've seen one logistical hub, you've seen them all.
It was not a strategic military hub. This was a region that they were keeping the lights on, essentially, in. But it's not.
Yeah, it's not important. I'm totally convinced, dude. You're selling me. Keep at it.
Strategically, very important for the Russians. So they decided to pull out, and the Russians were able to get all of their military equipment out, all of their.
No, not even fucking close. They were not able to get all of their military equipment out. That's just dumb.
Artillery and tanks out, though there's fake videos online circulating that tried to dispel that fact that
you almost slipped the truth out.
They were able to get all their stuff out. And that begs the question, if they were able to get all of their artillery, tanks, and personnel out of the region.
Why? If they were winning, why would they have to bug every fucking thing they have out of a region in a country they're planning on taking over? Why? Were they just given the land as a gift to the Nazis?
Without any haste or, quick withdrawal efforts that left some things behind.
Oh, so the idea is that, Jesus Christ. So this guy's case is that the Ukrainians charged into an area that the Russians had left weeks ago, and the only reason they are firing on power plants and on the soldiers as they come in is just to distract them and kill some people just for the fuck of it.
Then we have to assume that this was somewhat of a pre-planned operation. Obviously, sending 20,000 troops there caused the Russians to act, quickly and decisively, but there was negotiations going on inside the Russian military that sources are now claiming were planning a withdrawal from this region.
And I'm sorry, who's feeding you this bullshit? Like, look, even when we're talking to Philip, like he would, meet with some people who might know some things or whatever, he was very careful to not assume that what he was being told was the truth, or that it might even be something he should talk about. He's like, well, these are my feelings about it and that kind of stuff. But where this dude's like, yeah, there's some, my Russian sources.
Regardless of whether or not Ukraine launched an offensive there. So obviously this is not good for Russia. They lost.
So you're having a sad.
Lost territory. They lost 2,000 square kilometers, but it makes up about 1/40th of all of the territory that Russia has gained throughout the war in Ukraine. Not to mention, the Ukrainians lost thousands of troops. They lost multiple brigades, which isn't the biggest problem for them because they kind of have an endless supply of men that they can send to the front lines, but
no, they don't. And the other thing is like, I thought you were against war in general. I thought this was supposed to be an anti-war argument, that any deaths are terrible.
They're losing their top fighting forces. The real problem here for Ukraine is, though this is a victory, it is a victory. They gained territory. That's objectively a victory. It's a strategic blunder now because of the fact that Russia pulled out of the entire Kharkiv region. Ukraine's men are spread extremely thin, meaning that these airstrikes that Russia is now launching in the region are doing quite a bit of damage. Russia hasn't sent in infantry in the region.
They don't have any.
And also, Russia has decided to respond now by what they discussed in there, and we can discuss that more later, but the massive escalation of beginning to target civilian energy infrastructure.
Which is, what you do when you're trying to stop Nazis.
They knocked out about 50 to 60% of their civilian energy infrastructure.
So
that's good. So if they're able to freeze Europe and starve out a bunch of Ukrainians, that's good, right?
Russia.
Watch this fucker try to make this good.
They didn't know this was coming, or they don't care that this was coming, or
both, or neither, or whichever one sounds better.
Why was this allowed to happen?
Why was this allowed to happen, motherfucker? It's their country. It's Ukrainians' country, you fuck.
So they knew it was coming, but they made a decision that it was not worth sending more personnel to the fight and potentially losing thousands of men in the fight to protect this region. And obviously
So they just left the people that were there as cannon fodder for the fuck of it as a distraction. They just snuffed out a bunch of their own soldiers just to pretend they were holding an area, is the argument. Motherfucker.
That should be very frustrating to anyone who's watched this war, because we all know what has happened when Ukrainians retake territory that was withdrawn by the Russians, and there are reprisals that are going to take place.
They start killing people.
I beg your pardon? So when the Ukrainians take their own territory back, quote, they start killing people. Good fucking Lord. No, he means civilians. He means they roll in and murder civilians just for the shit of it. Honest to God. This is the state of the argument. Again, this is not anti-war. This is the Ukrainians deserve it. The Ukrainians are Nazis and murderers, and if the Chechens and the Wagner group roll through and have rape squads and sever children's genitals and burn corpses and rig other corpses with bombs or whatever, it's because they have to, because it's important, because they're Nazis and they deserve it.
Does this also set up a thing? I mean, you're talking about strategically, like...
Oh boy. Here comes Kurt to save the day. Some deep thoughts about strategery.
Isn't it like part of the strategy is to advertise back here? Look at, we just had a big success, so it's worth it to keep pouring money in?
This is that. I think that's what this is.
Yeah, they only win just so they can get more money. They wouldn't bother to win if they could get money for losing. Okay.
Like, that's their strategy. I mean, is that a bad strategy from their end to be like, even if it's a whatever kind of victory, but like, see, because the guy goes, he actually almost credited the American weapons with retaking it.
Right.
No, he did.
You know?
Well, the New York Times did explicitly. They said that the intelligence sharing that took place at an increased volume, right?
Yeah, but you obviously know that's not true, because what intelligence? If the American intelligence had been worth anything, we would have been able to tell them there's just nobody in there. There's nobody. They're not even going to defend it. They don't need that territory. So taking it's not worthwhile. This is fucking gross.
For the Kharkov offensive, what was what led to the success in the region.
They should do a Vogue spread of missiles.
They should. All right. So,
Jesus Christ. Like, he is so trying to polish this turd for Vladimir Putin.
Overall, it doesn't impact the outcome of the war. That's
No. Just keep your hopes up. There's still a chance that Russia will wipe out the Ukrainian identity from the face of the earth and control all of that before moving on to Moldova and Poland and nuking Berlin. There's still hope, Jimmy. There's still hope.
That's the final
so
point.
they retook a sliver of thing, and the American press is kind of blowing it up, and so
a sliver.
I mean, you should hear that they were talking about on the Sunday shows, and this is they said turning point. Is this a turning point in the war, Jackson?
No, it is not.
I heard them.
Honest to God, I don't know why that it's a good sign to enjoy that, even if it weren't. It's so fucked up.
Now then I saw that.
I mean, it is, but yeah.
Smarter, like your Peter Zahines or whatever, who are like
Zihan.
Like, yeah, this is really great, but I'd hold off just in like the smarter people I could see were like, don't jump to conclusions yet, even though this is great if
yeah,
you're rooting for this like it's a soccer game.
Or because lives matter.
Yeah, and I don't think we should necessarily jump to conclusions either. Anything could happen in war. War is full of surprises.
Yeah, but don't get bummed out. Russia still has a chance to kill everyone.
And there are other offensives that are being planned. I think Russia's probably prepared, but anything could happen.
You think Russia's probably prepared, but anything can happen? Who does this motherfucker sound like? Who does he remind me of? It's so strange. Let's see. There you go. I'm going to try to find yeah, here you go. This dude's getting plenty of play. Hold on one second. Yeah, here you go.
По нашим воинам, которые сейчас действительно занимаются очень важным делом.
Here you go. Are indeed doing very important work. They are resisting an enormous horde that has been trained in the West. There is no other way to describe that. As you understand, it was a troubling night. I don't know. Maybe they need to watch Jimmy Dore. They'll feel better. Just like all of you, I'm waiting for reports. It's understood that everything is difficult, but it can't be easy. This is a special operation. It's very special. People are dying. We understand how it is. Totally. This is a serious, difficult situation. Not according to Jimmy's dude. This is nothing. It's all just a fake out. Ukraine's armed forces, as a result of difficult battles, there's information that Russian units have indeed left Balaklia. Fighters of the National Guard left the area. They have left the city in an organized manner via the corridor on the outskirts of the east. Yeah, for this, it's advancement in the direction of what? Hold on. Fighters of the National Guard left in an organized manner via the corridor on the outskirts in the east for its advancement in the direction of Kharkiv. Ukraine's armed forces used the units that have been trained in Britain. The news is troubling. The information is inconsistent. Ukrainians are celebrating their victory. Zelensky's social media account posted what? The footage of Ukrainian flag in Balaklia. What's going on with Balaklia? What do you know? Yeah, she seems like she's having a great day. Good day, Olga. Which is a great show. Honestly, I had no idea. Oh, that didn't sound good. That Balaklia was the capital of Russia. Oh, I see. He's making, or that Kupiansk was turned into Russia's capital. So, like, they're celebrating this like it's a big fucking deal. It's not a big fucking deal. And this is the fight that broke out on this show. Let's see if we can play this guy right here. This is people are convinced President Putin that the special operation will be fast and effective. We won't strike the civilian population. We'll come in, and our National Guard, along with Kadyrovs, will bring these people, and they will really set all of us up. These people really set all of us up. Are you sure those people exist? Of course, the president didn't just sit there and think, why don't I start a special operation? Someone told him that Ukrainians will surrender, that they will flee, that they will want to join Russia. Someone had to be telling him all of this because they also said the same on TV. We're now at the same point where we have to understand it's absolutely impossible to defeat Ukraine. Using those resources and colonial war methods, this guy gets pissed when he says colonial, by the way, with which Russia is trying to wage war using contract soldiers, mercenaries, no mobilization, meaning no declaration of war. A strong army is opposing the Russian army. Fully supported by the most powerful countries in the economic and technological sense. Like this dude like steps in it. And then like these guys, we looked at these guys earlier, but they're all pissed. This guy tries to tell the truth too. They get mad at him. This guy is like, fuck you. How dare you even say the colonial word, the C word on TV? These are the same talking points this asshole is giving.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we hope that the Chechen rape squads and, forced genital mutilation of Ukrainian children continues, but hope springs eternal. Right, Jimmy?
So, anything we should add to this story or?
Nah, just, what could be better? I mean, it's the kind of victory that Russia's been hoping for.
That's it. So this big offensive, and you're hearing about it in the establishment press,
is just nonsense, and don't worry about it, and don't let the fact that Jimmy's eye is starting to twitch and that his lazy eye is starting to drift be a sign that he's not telling you how he really feels about something, and he's emotionally upset about it.
And they're making it look like Russia's on the run.
Mm-hmm. No, Russians are on the run. I think Russia's filleting itself right now, trying to make itself feel better.
And Russia's is not going to lose this war.
Don't get upset. Who the fuck do you have to be to like soothe the feelings of people who are worried that the Russians will lose a colonial attack on a neighboring country? What? Listen to the tone of his fucking voice. What is that about?
Establishment press, and they're making it look like Russia's on the run. And Russia's is not going to lose this war. They're not on the run, and now they're taking out their civilian energy structure.
Which is great. I mean, normally, that's the kind of thing true progressives root for. They're They're not on the run. They're going to win. And the good thing is that while they are having to pull back, they are firing on civilian infrastructure. What the fuck? This is like a sketch version of what I would do of his show. This is like ad absurdum.
I don't know why they didn't do this before, but they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't try to kill the civilian infrastructure before, because they were seizing the country. They thought it would be theirs, dumb fuck.
Doing it now. Why do you think they waited to start hitting their energy grid?
Because they were stealing the country, dummy.
Yeah, that's actually probably the biggest development of all that's getting no recognition, because the Russians, like you said, aren't on the run. They created very strong borders along the Oskol River and the Seversky Donets River and the Russian border around Kharkiv.
Yes, they have a very strong border of their own country. They should, you know what? For their own safety, they should just pull back to that border.
So they've contained that. But
they've contained that. They've contained the part where they've been pushed back to.
The big issue now is the fact that Russia has not only knocked out about 50% of the Ukrainian electrical grid.
Yeah, you know, house lighting and heat, hospitals. Yeah, the kind of thing you hope for as a progressive. You know, not hitting ammo dumps or military sites, blowing up the energy grid so that the fucking civilians suffer. Listen, it's shameless. It's fucking bizarre. This is obviously the result of him pushing the Nazi narrative early on, so he can't back out of it now because his ego won't let him, and his newly found Russian and right-wing audience will get pissed.
They also turned off the last reactor on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which...
What? Look at him like, The Ukrainians did, because they're worried the Russians are going to bomb the fucking place and create another Chernobyl.
Provided Ukraine with about 60% of their electricity. Going into winter, that's going to be crisis-level scenario for them. And Europe was actually relying on Ukraine, of all countries, to provide them with electricity because Ukraine was going to have an energy surplus this winter.
No, they weren't. And no, they're not.
So now Ukraine is trying to retake over the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant.
They're trying to declare it a demilitarized zone so nobody attacks it, dummy, because it's a fucking nuclear facility.
And because Russia's now meddling in the civilian energy infrastructure, something they hadn't done until now,
because they're sweet like that.
Kind of did it the opposite way that the United States engages in war. There is talk from Russian military sources.
Oh yeah? Just what Russian military sources would those be? You mean you just check in on their Telegram channels, or are they making direct fucking phone calls to you?
That what they just did in targeting the civilian infrastructure is supposed to be a display for further negotiations in the Ministry of Defense in Russia, meaning that it's possible that they change the official title of the special military operation, because this title and the legal parameters of it prevent Russia from targeting civilian infrastructure over and over again. So
yeah, only a couple of times. It's a special legal designation. They can only do it 3 times. If they miss 3 times, they're allowed to try a 4th time. If they hit the 4th time, obviously you can't take it out with 1 strike. So that allows them to restart and start shooting again. And so they get 3 more tries to hit more of it. Fuck this.
So what they're saying is Russia might take this SMO to another level and normalize the targeting of the civilian energy infrastructure.
Which is reason for Jimmy to get the first boner he's had in years. How the fuck do you say this and go, oh, that's cool? Where's Kurt in this fucking bullshit? Where's the miserable liberal? Are any of these people like, oh, good. I hope they hit the Ukrainian people right in their energy sources so that they can freeze to death. I hope that somebody tries to charge a defibrillator and it won't work, so so somebody has a heart attack, they just fucking die.
And this first targeting that we saw, and we actually saw double taps on the energy infrastructure just a few hours ago, after some of it had been
double taps. Great. It's very. Some of you may not understand this anti-war language.
And repaired is going to serve as an indicator for the Russian military as to whether or not they are seeing
allowed to attack civilians. What the fuck are you talking about? They've been attacking civilians the entire goddamn time.
Enough ramifications of this to merit the continuation of it, because this is the only thing Ukraine's really got going for them other than Western.
What? A culture? A civilian life? What are you talking about? The country wasn't a military fucking island.
Supply is that they still have their energy and they still have a lot of their supply routes.
And they still have a bunch of fucking men, women, and children and old people running around. I mean, like, it's time that, you know, Russia's really step up and start eliminating them as think of it as human resources.
When you shut off the energy, not only does that impact all of their communications and civilian life, but also
they have diesel generators, dumb fuck, for the military.
So it shuts down all their electric trains.
Their electric trains. And look how excited Jimmy is to hear that their electric trains won't work. So Christmas, I guess they'll have to use the wind-up toys? The fuck are you talking about? Electric trains? Oh. What do you mean, oh? What is he owing about?
Oh, look
at that. Look
at that. Electric trains. I didn't know they had electric trains. Look at that.
They don't. That's why he's not going, yep, they do.
All right, well, ignore what you're going to hear in the establishment press about how Russia's on the run.
Yeah, just ignore it. Don't pay any attention to it. It's true, but don't pay any attention to it. Get your truth from Jimmy Dore.
And how this is a turning point.
This sounds like a thing to go, okay.
It's a good look. This is actually better. Can this always be the framing? There doesn't have to be anybody in that window.
We'll keep pouring money in, and yeah, you're freezing, but we're so close.
We're so close. We're going to do it. We're going to turn this around. Okay, over to Steph.
All right, great. Hey, you know what? There's a question for Jackson. Can he come on? Can you put him on the side? Jackson, John wants to know, can you talk a little bit about the event that you're speaking at with Daniel Burke?
Yes, the Schiller Institute is putting on a great event in Manhattan on October 15th. And it's going to be Zelga Hep LaRouche is going to be there, of the LaRouche organization.
Oh, of course. What are the odds that he's a fucking LaRouchian? And that a LaRouche person in the chat asked him about it to promote it. Of course. Yes, as in Lyndon LaRouche. Yeah.
Oz of the Infrared Show, Daniel Burke, Samira Khan are all going to be there. And it's called Build the New Paradigm, Defeat Green Fascism. And it...
Defeat green fascism.
It's supposed to be a coming together of these LaRouche-minded people and, somewhat, tangential people like myself.
Yeah, LaRouche adjacent.
To talk about what's going on with this hyperbolic nature of the, green energy.
Oh, fucking hell. Really? Okay. What? Really? The hyperbolic nature of moving towards green energy. Holy shit.
Push right now, and how it's failing in Europe and what's to come in the United States.
What is going on? Why is it happening?
Why are we pushing towards green energy? What have we been doing? Why are they doing this? Please go into climate change is a fraud. Just go for that. Just jump in, man. Just do it.
Like, why'd they shut down their, you said Russia shut down their nuclear plant in Ukraine. Didn't Germany do that to themselves? And France is about to do that to themselves, turn off their own nuclear energy plant?
Yes.
Oh boy.
I mean, Russia did it to harm Ukraine.
Yeah, why would these because I mean, how do you get clean energy then? Are they gonna get, I mean, they're just not, I guess.
Oh, good Lord. Really? This is supposed to be, this is the left? This is supposed to be the left. This is so far left. It's right now. What is happening? Dobie, the Nazi elf.
The idea behind it is there's a push for degrowth and deindustrialization by all these, neoliberal elites across the world.
Yeah, that's just say neoliberal elite. So whatever they say, it's bad. So that automatically means.
And they're using green energy as a means to do that, as well as, hindering agricultural sectors all across the world. You see Bill.
Yeah, Dutch farmers and Bill Gates and
Gates doing that. They're doing that. The Dutch government's doing that. Canada's doing that.
Trying to get rid of petroleum-based fertilizers.
And the green energy is a part of it. That's what's happening in Europe right now.
Yeah, fucking green energy. Am I right?
Okay, that's going to happen October 15th in New York. Thank you so much. Jimmy, are you ready for the next story? All right, Jimmy.
So guess what? Zelensky to headline U.S. defense industry.
Okay, we saw he's talked about this in a couple times. The transfer, you don't want to do that, especially in time when the money spigot has been open and poured tens of millions. And we're back in here. And they lost. Okay, why is this group should be singled out for special protection? Is it clear the bills? Bloomberg, even so. Oh, and then we're into Fauci because he lied about whatever. This is their whole show. I just wanted to cover that part of it because I'm surprised. I have to say, isn't that Jimmy's wife or girlfriend or something? So, in case you were late to the program, Jimmy Dore's show is currently devoted to Lyndon LaRouche talking points, promoting Russian victory in its attack on Ukraine, and pushing back against green energy. And it is those ethical considerations, those thematic choices, it is those baseline platform ideas where Jimmy believes that the progressive left should inform its behavior, and anybody who's not on board with that is fake left or something. That's amazing. Yeah, it's no wonder he hates progressives almost as much as he hates actual progress. Also, on our way out the door, and I'm going to let you guys go after this, whatever. But so he's golfing in his Virginia club with no golf clubs. This is Trump. This is what mobsters look like who are terrified of wiretaps. Exactly. They're just he's looking for his ball. He's lost his ball and he's trying to find it. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. I know I went a little bit long, but stumbling on that. Isn't LaRouche like 120? Isn't he dead? I think so. Christ. So, anyways, that is TYT if you boil it down to its essence, and turn it loose and allow it to just do whatever it wants. It's the purest, uncut, unstomped on, stem and seedless version of TYT is the Jimmy Dore Show. And this is what he's doing. Like, don't vote for Democrats. That's the primary thing. Green energy is a scam. And Russia, don't worry. Russia's not going to lose. You know what's funny is I feel like how I said it is an unfair distilling of the talking points, but it is almost directly a fucking quote. Jim equals God save Russia. Exactly. It's not TYT. Sandy, Jimmy was a member of TYT. He was put on that show, and he had that same show was an offshoot of it for a while. They ended up having to kick him to the curb because he spit in Alex Jones's face. And they were worried that, you know, I don't know, Alex was a friend or that they'd get sued or something like that. Anyways, fascinating stuff. I adore you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon at our regular show. No morning show tomorrow, but I will have one on Wednesday. If I can dig up Philip, if we can find him, I'll see if he can come on and join us. And, but like, yeah, I'm just, first of all, it's nice overall. Let's wrap this up if I can and put a bow on it. The positive takeaway from all the clips we looked at today is that there is panic in Trump land. There is panic in Putin land. And everybody who has been like diving over themselves to throw themselves under the bus or cradle the testicles of those two guys is having a rough one. And you should take that as good news. You should enjoy that, savor that, if you will. Because everybody who's been backing Trump can just yell nonsense and slather stuff together, from Mark Levin to Tucker to any of these folks. They're desperately scrambling for anything positive to say. And it's gotten so bad in Dore World that he had to dig up a LaRouchian to fucking come in and defend Russia. Holy shit. So I think it's awesome. Again, it's a popcorn day. I'm just saying. Today, you know, not every day can be a popcorn day, but this one sure the fuck is. So enjoy that. And again, we just soldier on. Keep your head up, smile, and remember, in deference to the crowd that we've seen today, if you're ever confronted with a choice that you believe is the choice between the lesser of two evils, it's simple. Choose less evil. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for gifting subs in Twitch, especially for other people. And if it occurs to you to subscribe, that would be lovely. And you can become a member on YouTube. You can also gift, if you're YouTube only, you can gift memberships on YouTube as well. And Facebook, you can give stars and that kind of stuff, and you'll do it next time. I mean, it doesn't help for me to do it at the tail end because, you know, the show's basically over. So what the heck? But anyway, Slava Ukraine, and love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. And thanks everybody for just sharing your time with me, because it's the biggest gift of all. Thanks so much. See you tomorrow.